ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, even the adult ones. Good to see you guys. Welcome to the show. Hey everybody, what's going on? Tonight is another episode of Fate of the Exocortex. I hope that you guys enjoy it as much as I do. It's been a while. It's been a while since we played. I don't exactly know what's going on, and we just got a big giant host from Entropic J. Entropic J, thank you so much for that awesome host. Welcome everyone from the Starship Chaos. We are just about to start the tabletop role-playing game, Fate of the Exocortex, run by a very good friend of mine. You are all welcome to come in, hang out, have a seat, relax, enjoy the story. A little note about how this broadcast works. Since it's a role-playing game and since it's very story-heavy, I will not be able to interact with chat as much as I want to. One of the cool things about this is the story is amazing, and Jay, the guy that runs it, is an awesome storyteller. So if you like cyberpunk games, if you like idiots like me doing terrible accents, if you like role-playing games, come on in. I think you'll enjoy this. You might be a little lost, you might not know where things are going, but that's okay. That's okay. All of the episodes are up on YouTube, except for the last one, which I lost somehow. Grandpa, thank you for the cupcakes, dude. Thank you. I don't know how many that was, but I appreciate it. Thanks for the quarter, Grandpa. Thank you, man. Thank you. Good to see you guys. We're about to start this. We're about to get the show on the road. So yeah, as I said, I'm not going to be able to interact as much as I would like to. I will, however, be monitoring chat. I'll be able to type to you guys. All sound effects are disabled. A lot of the alerts, a lot of the sounds are disabled for those. You'll get a visual cue, but excuse me, but that's about it. I think we're ready to go. I hope you guys are having a good day. I'm so glad it's Friday. I'm really happy. I am really happy that it's Friday. I just want to chill out and relax and maybe drink a little booze later, and I don't know. I'm just very excited. I'm very excited to not be working right now. Anyway, yeah. So, Eternal, good to see you. Crystal, good to see you as well. Grandpa, again, thank you for those bits. I really appreciate it. I think without further ado, Entropic J, thank you for that host, man. Thank you very much. It's good to see you guys. If you get the chance, and you aren't doing so already, please go follow Entropic J. He's an awesome broadcaster, longtime Twitch friend, he's one of those people that, when you look back on, like, knowing a person, you're like, why didn't I know this person earlier? You know what I mean? Just like really cool, really chill dude, and I love him. I love him to death. Anyway, playing some Horizon Zero Dawn. Nice, awesome. I want to play that game very much. God damn you, console exclusivity. I apologize for the green screen. Up, and it's fine now. Okay, green screen's being weird tonight, but whatever. That's because it's a screen I don't use very often. Anyway, guys, without further ado, I think we're going to jump over into the game here. Yeah, let's have some fun. Let's do this. Here we go.
There are moments where it's like...
All right, hello everyone. Sorry to interrupt.
That's okay.
I've already done my intros. You're up, Jay. Go.
Okay. It looks like on the stream we're still hosting Smokealoke.
That should not be a thing.
Okay. Which is fine. Smokealoke's doing a great job with, looks like, Alloy. But, it could just be on my screen. Let me double check.
You might have to refresh it.
Yeah, probably. Anyway, hi guys, I'm James, and I'll be running Fate of the Exocortex tonight. And I'm just gonna... usually at the beginning I do this whole like summary of the game, and but we've done this a couple of times now, and I feel like if you're with us still at this point, you probably know. But the bullet points are: this is a cyberpunk game, and we're joining a crew of 4 shadow operatives, for lack of a better term, who are working in the shadow economy of the Boswash Metroplex. The 4 of them are linked together by an incredibly advanced Exocortex, which is sort of a computer that's implanted in the brain that acts as a secondary seat of cognition and organization, working with the brain. And theirs are well advanced beyond the available technology of the time, putting the four of them in constant communication and with the ability to kind of share and perceive each other's spaces. There was a hole in their memory not too long ago, and they woke up at the tail end of a disastrous job, and since that time they've been kind of picking up the pieces, trying to rescue the fallen and understand their role in the world around them, and trying to figure out ways that they can kind of change the world. Because of the cyberpunk world, the world is pretty dark, it's controlled by corporations, it's pretty hopeless and grim, and these four not at all subtle idealists are going to try and change it.
Yeah, we're gonna do it. Whoa. I have no idea what's happening. You may have to reconnect to the call, James.
Come back, James. The Lollipop Guild, they've come back.
It kind of sounds like this. Hello, my name is James.
Oh my god. Yeah, James, try disconnecting and reconnecting to Zoom, please. So, that's happening. How's everyone doing tonight? How you guys doing?
Pretty good. Glad it's Friday.
Yeah, me too. Me too. I said the very same thing. How's the bakery coming along? Talking to someone who's a baker here.
It has not done much.
No?
I'm still caught up in inspections.
Oh no!
Yeah.
That's awful. I'm sorry.
I sympathize.
It's okay. It's given me plenty of time to keep working on recipes like giant cinnamon buns.
That thing was the size of my head. By the way, everyone, I got sent a gigantic cinnamon roll that's literally the size of my head. Bigger. Actually bigger than my head, which is pretty big. Definitely was not bigger than my ego, though. Anyway, hi, James. Welcome back.
Hey, do I still sound like a chipmunk?
No.
James?
No, but it was amazing.
Nice. I can't wait to. Oh
no.
Damn
What's,
it.
James?
what's happening? No,
It happened again.
the chipmunk's back.
A disappointed chipmunk.
God damn it, James.
I wonder if...
How do you, what even? Let me
Oh my
Google
God.
search this. My
I
friend
can't-
sounds like a chipmunk. Here we go.
I don't even know what to do now. I think maybe he was trying to talk really, really slow.
Uh-oh, this is actually a thing. All right.
What are you
Quit
ta-
Skype. Oh, we're not on Skype. Foolishness.
Are you Googling things?
I am actually Googling things. Unsupervised.
2 girls, 1 cup, go. Don't Google that. Never Google that. Don't.
No, thank you. No. Skype recording too fast. What the hell?
Yeah. Good game. Technical problems.
Any fun weekend plans for anyone that they want to talk about on the stream?
I plan to sit around and do almost nothing.
Awesome. I support this plan.
I may eat some food.
Better.
I don't know.
Probably wise.
I'll continue to wrangle 2 small children.
I feel like... I don't know. I feel like you should get extra stats for that.
Yes, something.
That's
Don't
not
you?
that's not an easy thing. Hey.
Third time's the charm? Hi.
Hello. Do I
So
sound
far,
at
so
all
good.
normal?
Yes,
Okay.
you do.
Yes?
All right. For some reason, it changed my default to my webcam microphone instead, and for whatever reason, it was doing something weird. If it happens again, I expect you all to keep straight faces and just let me keep rolling with it.
Okay. That's not going to happen.
Okay.
No, I can't promise that.
Yeah, I can't do that.
No problem. Okay.
Yeah,
So
the Matrix is glitching, people are saying.
nice. Yep. Too much awesome in one place. All right. So we did introductions?
No, mostly we just made fun of your chipmunk voice.
Yep. It was
Awesome.
It was beautiful.
It is my duty to entertain. Rage, tell me about your character. Oh, wait, you're drinking water.
Well, J5 is he's a socks and sandals IT nerd, except he's really angry about stuff. And he has sort of a, I don't want to call it a fetish, because that would be weird. He has a definite fondness for guns. He's like that IT survivalist nut guy that we all know. You know. Yeah, he's definitely got some issues. He's got a terrible accent, and he misses Sigma a whole lot.
Aww.
Aww.
Duh.
All right, Aaron, you're up.
I'm playing Lee Bansky, who's a rogue AR artist who is all about going big or going home. And I can't go home, so.
Nice.
Nice. Saren?
I'm playing Jax. I'm a media reporter, kind of broadcasting on pirated airwaves and telling the stories that the corporate news media won't.
Nice. And Nate?
I'm playing Sebastian Chrome, the man of 1,000 faces, who is a good guy in a bad world and in way over his head.
Nice. All right. So the when last we left our heroes, they pulled off a daring raid against a one of the major corporations, stealing a full body prosthetic that they're hoping to update to be able to act as a housing for Sigma's Exocortex, giving her some semblance of life again. The heist was not without its difficulties, but our heroes persevered and got away by hitting themselves with a van and driving off. They got back into cover and managed to use the access they gained to the corporation during the heist to steal some money from the corporation, as well as getting the full body prosthesis back to the hub, which is their base of operations, and start to prepare it for the eventual rescue of Sigma. Okay. So what I was thinking this time is, as we were ending last time, we were at this sort of between spot. And before we start another job, and before the end of tonight, I want to set up our next job. We're going to have some time to kind of interact with the world and do things. Follow up on leads, start new trouble, get into new trouble, follow up on old trouble, things like that. To avoid that feeling of your characters being like, well, shouldn't we be right on top of the next thing right now? What I'd like to offer is this conceit that in the background, whenever one of you isn't in the camera, everyone else is working on the next job. So like you guys are doing the legwork, you're following leads, you are doing research on whatever the next target is we decide. So there's this sense that your characters are indeed doing the thing that is most important to them. This is all the stuff that happens around the edges of that. And then as we hit the end of the session, we'll do the breaking down the steps of the job you want to run, and we'll run the actual job probably next time, but maybe tonight if we're feeling ambitious. Does that work for everybody?
Works for me.
Totes my goats.
Awesome. Each of you guys have a project next to your character icon that you're currently working on, and then a central project under the Sigma symbol, which is bringing Sigma back, and that's getting really close to completion. You guys have made some effort in decoding the Exocortex. What that means is that the Exocortexes that you have a whole bunch of fragmented information in it. And it's a ton of information, but it's completely scrambled as far as you can tell. And you've been making this little bits of progress into trying to kind of put that information back together. And that's what that represents. Sebastian Chrome is trying to find Teddy Dow a new home. Teddy Dow is a child of a strange sort of parentage and past.
that is Sebastian is kind of adopted and taking care of. He's currently living in Sebastian's apartment, which is, I think, the only apartment that still stands.
Yes.
Jax is working on a big expose, a sort of a work for her channel that is going to be monumental in its scope and its impact, and it's going to be, she's hoping, a sort of torch point for maybe a revolution or something. And Lee, ever the practical, is working on trying to get enough money scraped together to refund the hub. The hub is the team's base of operations, and it was kind of set up by them in the past, though they don't remember doing it, to be a hub of activities to overthrow the corporations and just sow chaos and advance humanistic anarchy. And Lee's kind of taking point on trying to get that put back together. Other things that are happening on the background are, we have this sort of web of corporate interests and other interests that are in play in the world. This is the sort of representation of what they know so far. And there's a story and connections between each of these. The big newcomers here are that Icarus Aerospace has offered a significant bounty for the capture of the people who murdered Vasily Dow, who was one of their corporate executives. The current theory is that was actually this crew right here. So there's bounty hunters looking for them. The other new addition is that there's this new player on the scene named Caldera, who was teamed up with the Crooked Cops, and were asking questions about J5's background and interviewing some people who knew J5 in the past. I think that's all the newcomers right now, right?
Let's see. Janny Avison was the assistant to, what was her name?
She's the person to talk to at Leandri about their cloning stuff.
Oh, right. I'm thinking of someone else. Good call. Thank you.
Welcome.
Yep, there was another. It was a contact that Jax looked up that gave you the name Janny Avison. I don't have the other person's name immediately available, but she was like a mid-level research assistant who basically just had the inside scoop on Leandri.
Right. Okay.
Cool. Yeah. All right. So you guys are currently then in the hub, and you have your sort of projects going on in the background. You've noticed that since the funding has kind of moved up a notch, that the hub is a little bit busier than it was in the past. Two of the guys who you met at the hub before are here a little bit more often now. Kaode, who's the head of security, splits his time between Clockwork 5, which is the bar upstairs, and working down here in a work area. And there's also another gentleman, the guy who's usually working on drones, who is also down here fairly often. And what he does is work on drones. So he's got like a work area similar to yours, where it's got a whole bunch of different types of drones in various degrees of construction. And he's down there pretty often now, busy. Sometimes he's curiously kind of looking over at what you folks are doing, and then other times he's just has his head sort of buried in his own stuff. That was Soon, was his name. So you folks are there. You have your work areas. What do you want to do?
Okay, so we have the prosthetic. Did we start installing that? Is that a thing that happened?
I've been working on making it look
Cosmetics, right?
Yeah, I've been working on the cosmetics. We can't do any kind of installation until we get the meat part.
Oh, right. Right. Did we come up with a solution for that?
Not yet. I think our options are find an existing brain that, for whatever reason, is available for donation and sufficiently healthy, or find somewhere that's cloning body parts and steal one.
Yikes. Is that all?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's tough. Uh-oh, we might have lost James again.
James?
Oh, did you lose me?
Nope.
No,
Nope, you're here.
just your picture.
Okay. Ah, we lost the picture, huh? Interesting. Okay, well, I'm still here.
Okay.
Carry on.
All right. Well, I guess we need to make a decision, right? Are we which do we think is going to be better for her in the long run?
My random guess might be clone, just because there's, I don't know, nothing else in it. How do brains work? Lee, can you help us out there?
Probably clone is the best way to go. For no other reason that it's a lot cleaner.
Well, I'm certain we have samples, right? So we could give someone something to clone.
It's true. I think we learned from digging around that at least what is known to be available would take like a long time. Was it like a year?
Yeah, but you also found that if anyone has more advanced than that technology, that it's probably Leandri.
Leandri, yeah.
Yeah, so we were going to check them out.
All right. That's not something I can do.
Well, we know who in Leandri would know, but no one at Leandri is going to admit how advanced they actually are. Like, publicly, especially if you're talking human cloning, especially if you're talking fast human cloning. Like, that's just something you keep in your back pocket. You get a military contract and go from there. You know, you don't advertise.
Yes, and didn't you have an ID all set up for them?
I think you did.
Oh, yes, I did. I do, rather. Yes. Sebastian fumbles making the coffee for a moment and then gets back to it.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, that is something I have on the books.
Maybe we should be checking that out before we go and run off with anything else. Because if it's hers, that's going to be the best. Period. Because I mean, the Exocortex is going to be familiar with it.
Yeah, that makes sense to me.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I'm behind it.
All right. I'm still playing with the webcam here, trying to get it to work. Didn't have these issues.
Uh-oh.
James?
Now did we lose you?
Straight face, serious. God damn it, Darren.
Oh my god, guys! Where's the Exocortex?
Oh man, what a night! This is the best Friday ever. Okay, well we can talk about things while he gets things settled. So what? Let's try to formulate a plan of what you're going to do when you get in there to talk to people, Sebastian.
It's going to be difficult to walk out with, even more difficult, I dare say, to walk out with a cloned brain or even information on the subject. I would think. This is a little outside of my purview, except that we did just steal an entire body, so maybe now it's my purview. You would need to... Even transportation would be difficult.
I mean, I can walk you through the building. I used to work there. I'm familiar with where things are. And we at least know whose files to get. I mean, I guess the question is, do we want to try to talk this out of them, which I think would be hard, or do we want to try to like steal computer stuff, which is not my purview, so computer people please speak up, or I don't know, just grab a brain that they have lying around. That might be a thing. I don't know. I didn't spend that much time in that department.
Yes, we'll take it out of the jar that says Abby Normal. Oh dear.
Maybe we can get you some little bit of tech that allow you to, if you slip it into the right place, then we can take the information we need from a distance.
That's not a bad idea.
Might be better.
Especially if we could do it without burning the persona you have there. Then we could go back when we had to lift brain.
Hey, James.
Hey. And do I sound like a cyber chipmunk still?
Nope.
Awesome.
And we have video.
Cool. All right. So what's the plan?
We're still sort of discussing it.
Okay.
I think the most recent and probably best suggestion we've gotten so far from Aaron was, or rather Lee, was to give her like a thing so that we could then steal information remotely.
Okay. So like set up a meeting and then give her some sort of connection so that you guys could hack into her stuff after that meeting.
Right.
Cool. That's workable.
Yeah, I might be able to develop something similar to the circuitry in my fingers. So that, like, literally all you have to do is, like, a sticker, slap it on somewhere.
Yep. That's definitely workable. Okay. Sorry, I restarted my computer to get everything working again, so I got to open my notes again. But that sounds like a very workable plan. Is that the first thing you guys are going to do? Is there anything else around that you want to look into? It's okay if there's not. I'm just giving the opportunity.
How's Teddy doing?
Yes, I was going to say I should really, I should go check on him. The poor thing.
Okay.
Spend some time with him at least. Out of the loop, I'm not quite sure where to go. But Sebastian's better at this than me. So does he know, like, what's the next step in relocating this kid somewhere nice?
So I can make this up or you can make this up. Because whatever you make up for this, I will take as canon and we will shift it to fit the world. So if you want me to make it up, I certainly will. But if you want to, feel free.
Pretty good at improving things, but I confess I have nothing in my head for this.
Then probably the first step is reach out to see what of your contacts are still active and to find which ones are have the availability to start doing that sort of transportation and setup. Off the top of your head, you can think of 3 or 4 various places kind of in the outskirts of the Boss Wash Metroplex that these kind of lost kids kind of go to. But reaching out and sort of opening those lines of communication to find out which ones have openings and availability and which of your, I don't know what the word is, but whatever the kind and humanitarian coyote would be, those guys, and reaching out to them to get an idea for timing of that transportation would probably be the first step.
I'm going to go see Teddy, and then I'm going to get on that. And it shouldn't take too long to send up some messages. I hope that's all right with everyone.
That's fine. He's been eating cereal at your apartment for days now, hasn't he?
Has it been days? Yes. I'll be back, unless I'm taking anyone with me.
Well, do you feel like you need to? Is a question.
Oh, they haven't caught me yet.
If you want company, I'm happy to join. I can work on some story stuff in my head just as easily.
That would be delightful.
Sure.
All right. Well, if you need,
I'll take him and also some guns.
If if you need me, I'll be here. I'm gonna work on decoding this mess in our heads while you guys are doing that. Unless you need me.
All right. Well, it's look like I need you.
Prosthetic.
But no, that's good to be working on, I suppose. We'll be back shortly. Shortly-ish.
All right. So I'll park myself in my chair, plug myself in, and sort of just do that for a while.
Cool. Tell me about that chair. What does it do?
What does it do? It is designed to be amazingly comfortable, and it also has like built-in network connections like hardline into the city's stuff. So,
Nice.
and that's what the data jacket's for.
Gotcha. So this is where you go when you do your serious work.
Right.
Very
Yeah.
cool.
It's like not remote. There's no wireless here. It's just like straight hardwire.
Gotcha. Very good. All right. So you're going inside. We have Chrome and Jax heading over to Chrome's apartment. And Lee, what are you doing?
Oh, she's loose.
Nope, he's
Oh,
gone.
no, that's fine. That's fine. We'll go with the other group. So the two of you head out. Do you guys have a preference as to what screen you're looking at? Do you want to look at the web there, or do you want to look at the screen with your character's preference?
I'm sure this will all go entirely smoothly, so it shouldn't matter, right?
Sure.
Nice.
Yeah, about that chair, I have no idea how this is going to show up, but
Oh, look at that. That is
Awesome.
cool.
I wanna
Yeah.
see it.
I love that we get art for this game. That is so cool.
It's awesome.
I
is
missed
so
it.
cool.
you live with me.
Can you send me a picture of that? That'd be awesome.
Yes.
Thank you.
Cool. Okay, so you make your way over to the. So you guys leave. Are you taking the van? Are you taking public transportation? What are you doing?
I'm going to spring for whatever the cyberpunk equivalent of an Uber is.
Nice. All right.
I'll switch my face over to something bland and forgettable.
Very good. So the two of you get in. Yeah. So I see like cars are getting just get smaller and smaller and smaller as the technology gets more and more advanced. But there's these like holdouts. So you get into this like older car, which is only like a 2120 model or whatever. So it's actually big enough for some passengers in it, and it's been decked out with some like beads and curtains and everything. And the driver turns around and this kind of smiles, and his teeth are mostly chrome and silver, and says, "Yeah, I got you, no problem. Hop in." And he starts to pull away from the curb once the two of you are in, and says, "Where are you headed?"
I'll give him directions. Just around there is fine. We can walk the rest of the way.
He nods, and then just kind of turns forward, and otherwise the drive is fairly without incident.
Awesome.
After about, I don't know, half an hour of winding through the streets of the Boswash Metroplex, you get to like the neighborhood where your home is. You're like a block or two away, and he slows down, and then like kind of suddenly slows down, and then he starts looking around, and kind of half looking at AR and half like trying to peer out the windows, and then he comes to a halt, and he says, "Yeah, so my onboard sensors are picking up gunfire. I'm not going any closer. Probably want to get out here."
Oh yes, here's fine. Thank you. I pay him and hop out. Oh.
Right.
Well, may I borrow one of those firearms?
I packed extra just for you.
Thank you so much. Something light caliber. My wrists are acting up. I select the equivalent of the Tiffany
Of course they are.
self-defender and tuck that in my coat and then take off at a quick trot.
Okay. I picture this thing where it's like very quiet in the cab, and there's like this kind of obnoxious music going, and then when you open the door to get out, the music kind of mutes just enough that you start hearing the Boswash Metroplex again, and you hear these coughs of gunfire. That sounds something like a submachine gun or something firing in short bursts. And you start making haste in that direction. Great. What's the area around your house like?
I was just about to ask you that.
Oh, you know, it's seen better days, like everywhere around here. It's again not bad, but it's not great, and you can't really keep an eye on your neighbors anymore. Some of the buildings are leaning on each other, sort of like drunks stumbling out of a bar. And you know, the roofs are all still pretty intact, except for where the acid rain's eaten through. And I mean, if you go up high enough, you're probably going to find some crazy old lady eating beetles, but I don't know. I don't go up there.
Nice.
How regular is the gunfire around your house? Normally.
Well, rare enough that I keep a weapon in my house, but not quite so often that I actually train with it. It's there just to make me feel a little better, but shoving the sofa up against the door makes me feel better than it does. Sebastian he has not actually come to grips with the fact that he lives in an increasingly lousy neighborhood. And in some part of his brain insists that it was the right time to buy that apartment. It was the right time to move here. It's going to get better. And it just hasn't gotten better.
Nice. Cool. So the shooting is definitely out of place. And the area sounds like it's kind of urbanish, some sort of rundown areas, but largely still occupied.
Yes.
That sound about right? Okay.
That sounds about right.
Cool. Then you, as you're making your way through it, are you guys doing going for speed? Are you going for tactical, keeping undercover? What's your approach look like?
I'm hoping for the latter, but...
At first, he'll stick to the shadows, but he starts to worry a little bit too much. And isn't quite as stealthy as he could be by the end of it, definitely.
All right, I'll make sure that I have the weapon out, but, hold it down to my side.
Okay. Cool. You make your way kind of quickly in that direction, looking for a balance of awareness and speed. And the gunfire kind of starts to pick up in intensity for just a few seconds. And then you kind of come around this corner that's pretty close to where the entrance to Chrome's apartment is. And you see muzzle flashes from the alleyway next to it. And then silence. You can see the front door. The alleyway with the muzzle flashes is kind of off to the left a little bit. The next sort of alleyway over. And you guys are coming from across the street. And
so I've got a really great onboard media suite and a flaw that I'm super curious. So what kind of view can I get if I zoom in and low light and all of that from here?
You still not getting enough from here, but
yeah, okay.
Definitely earn a fate point if you go look in the alley.
Uh-huh. I mean, trying not to just stick my head around the corner, but yeah, I mean, it's so nearby. It could totally have something to do with us. And if it doesn't have anything to do with us, it could be a good story. So.
Okay. So you head over there. You work your way across the street, and instead of heading straight for the front door, you kind of get close to the alleyway, and then you work your way over to it, and you're doing the back against the wall, lean and look.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. You do so, and in the alleyway, you see a body, and the body is dressed in street clothes, but the street clothes are sort of tattered in the front. And you see that he's wearing some fairly moderate ballistic armor underneath it, and the shirt is tattered from bullet strikes, and the ballistic armor is punctured in a few places, and he's lying on the ground, more or less unmoving. A little bit of blood, a little bit of gurgle, but that's about it. At the far end of the alleyway, stationary and looking in this direction, are three people. Two of them are sort of tall. Weirdly tall, 6.5, 7 foot tall. They're wearing long black coats, and each of them are holding a machine pistol in their hands. They're wearing sort of featureless helmets, and standing between them is a bald woman, also wearing a long coat, and she's kind of standing just a step ahead of them, and the body language kind of saying that she just stepped out from behind them, is walking forward. And I'm going to have you roll sneaky for me, please.
Yeah, that's not really my strong suit.
Balls.
It's okay.
Oh my god, those things look creepy as hell.
Yeah, I'm snapping pictures so fast.
Oh, I regret everything.
How bad is the -1 for me?
Let's find out. I'm going to go here, and we're going to go here.
I mean, that was a bad roll.
Here.
It just got a fate point.
Yep.
But a 3 would be really hard for me on sneaky.
Yeah.
Are they succeeding with style with a 4?
They are.
Yeah, I don't want.
Wow,
Oh, but you rolled a negative one too.
I'm a champion.
So
Well, I'm willing to.
go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, please.
I'm willing to spend a fate point to keep that from being with style.
So let's do some math. If he's beating you by 3, it's with style. And so right now, if you spent a fate point, you'd go up to a 1, and that would do it. Good. Okay, cool.
Okay.
What aspect are you going to invoke?
I am going to invoke that I'm a pirate media reporter, so this is not my first time being places I shouldn't be around people who would rather I wasn't there.
Okay. That's fine. So you spend the fate point, and so they do this look up thing where they saw movement. So instead of them like seeing you and identifying that, oh hey, that's that person who's famous, they're seeing like movement at the end of the alleyway. And like the minute they see it, the two of them step forward and raise their pistols, and she immediately like turns her back entirely and starts walking back the opposite direction.
Okay, looking at the footage I just got, does the alley go all the way through? Like, do they have the option to just leave?
Yes, they do. Yep.
Okay, then I will take the pictures I have and hopefully not get shot. And I'm just going to like quickly go a short ways away and then like casual it up.
Okay.
You know, just play casual.
Yep. Where are you at for that, Chrome?
Go inside.
Yeah, I opened the damn door. We're going inside.
Okay. So you head up to the door and open it and slip inside. And Jax, are you gonna like go into, or are you just gonna walk by like you don't even know?
I'm gonna walk by like I don't even know and just try to like make it around the block kind of thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you keep walking. You don't see what's happening behind you, but at the corner of your eye, Chrome, you see that those two kind of tall, creepy guys hit the end of the corner, and they look around, and they look at you. They don't. It doesn't seem like they clock Jax, but they definitely take a moment looking at you. And I'm going to have you roll. So what they're trying to do is they're trying to identify you as Sebastian Chrome.
Oh, but you have your boarding face on from the cab.
You do. So they've got some state-of-the-art tech to try and identify you, but you've got a boring face on. So we're going to have a good old-fashioned roll-off here. Is your approach...
I carefully crafted this boring face.
I figured you might have. Go ahead and roll me careful. And
May I also, because I'm a bullshit artist, craft the story that I've been working all day, I don't want to get shot, please don't shoot me, my life is shit. Or is this... My life is on the line here, pal. I'm about to be enfiladed.
Okay. Yeah, I'm down for that.
All right.
So we're just going to have an opposed roll. If I win, then I will recognize you. And you got a 5. So I'm going to try...
Yeah.
Negative Ghost Rider. Pattern is full. All right. So they look at you, and like, if this was a TV show, we'd cut to their point of view, and you would see this really elaborate sort of heads-up display coming from their eyes, and it would do these like circle scanning things on your body, and it would try to get reads on your cyberware. And there's like a tag for your exocortex, there's a tag for your facial implants, and they spin as like searching to identify, and then it's question marks, and then it switches over to identify them as like really boring, normal sort of implants, and then they like hear you and you're doing your story, and then they just kind of turn and walk back into the alley. And Jax, you make it to the end of the block, no problem.
Run, Jax, save yourself.
You scoot inside, Sebastian, and make your way to your... Is the whole building yours, or you just have an apartment in the building?
No, just an apartment in the building.
Okay, cool. So you make your way up to your apartment and open the door, and Teddy Dow is there, and he's curled up on the couch on a corner, and he's got his Exocortex hardwired into a data port in the wall, and he's just kind of lounging there doing something. His body language isn't like super relaxed. He's kind of almost curled in this not quite field position, but this kind of protecting himself sort of position. and he's clearly not seeing like you or the world. He's completely buried in whatever he's looking at on his exocortex.
Well, I get in and close the door. I don't slam it or anything. And then I'm going to shoot him an Exocortex version of AOL Instant Messenger like, hey, I'm in the house. I don't want to scare you.
He sits up and like almost like too quickly, and the plug pulls out of his exocortex, and he has like this instant huge smile, and he says, and like instant huge smile, and then like a moment of fear as he like sees that you're not you.
Oh.
And then he like texts you back, and he says, "Is that you?"
Oh yeah, I go back to my balding, middle-aged, pudgy self.
And his posture relaxes, and he kind of like takes like 2 steps towards you, and like isn't sure if he should hug you, and then he kind of
I scoop him up in a big hug. No,
right.
No. Don't worry about that.
And then he smiles and says, "Are you okay?"
Are you okay? There was gunfire outside.
Yeah. No, it's been for a little while.
Yeesh.
I got scared and decided I didn't want to hear it anymore.
Legitimate concern. I shoot a message over to, hey Jax, he's okay. We're inside if you want to come up.
Great, thanks.
Yep.
Okay. As you're heading up there, Jax, are you? How are you doing that?
Is there a back way in here, Sebastian?
Yes, there is. Now it goes through. This lady has it set up as a kitchen. Like, just be careful where you step. Is all I'm saying. It's
all right.
Whatever was caught in the trap this morning. It's vile.
That's fine. Human interest story. I will continue around the block and come in the back way.
Cooking oil has an expiration date. I know she doesn't think so, but it really does.
Nice. Okay.
Oof.
Yeah.
Cutting back inside, Teddy says, someone knocked on the door this morning. I didn't answer it like you said.
Smart.
And then it was quiet for a while, and then like the last, and he checks his heads up display, half hour or so, there's been a lot of noise outside.
I think it might be time that you come with us to somewhere else that's a little safer. How do you feel about that? Are you absolutely enamored with my Xanadu here, or will you come with me?
You're out of cereal and almost out of toilet paper.
Yes, delightful. So in that case, you should probably come with us.
Okay.
First, we have our friend Jax will be arriving shortly, and then once we're a little bit safer, we will scurry along.
He gets a little bit of a bashful smile and says, "Okay."
Okay.
And then Jax, as you're working your way back there, you have to cut through like some of the like small alleys and stuff, trying to find the back route. And you find a couple of signs of firefights at various places. And you find another blood trail, or a blood trail, where someone was pretty recently shot and then dragged off.
Okay. I'm going to get a lot of B footage off of this. Just make sure to record everything.
Okay. And then you find the back entrance, and it's much like Sebastian described, except there's the woman who's kind of in the area is armed, and she kind of peers out and looks at you and gives you like a hard eyeball, and then kind of ducks out of the way and lets you walk by. And then you make your way up to the apartment without anything else.
Hey, how close are you with the woman downstairs?
Oh, Mrs. Dostovsky? No, not even a little bit. We don't even speak the same language. I mean, she's delightful, I'm sure, but no.
All right, then I don't think
right?
we should linger. Yes, I mean, hard as nails, but yes. But I don't think we should linger.
All right.
I think we should go out the back way.
Okay. Yeah, we can do that. Absolutely. I'm going to pack a bag very quickly. Sebastian roams around trying to decide what of his knickknacks he actually needs, throws a few things in a bag, kind of looks around like, should I set it on fire or not? And then waits for Jax.
We can hire someone to do that.
Nice. Okay. So you grab your bag. Teddy grabs his. Teddy's isn't very. Doesn't have a lot of stuff. He basically has the stuff that he's inherited from Sebastian. So he's got a couple of oversized shirts, some clothes he found that more or less fit him, and he has whatever he's been able to put in his Exocortex. So he grabs the biggest thing he grabs is all the cords that plug his Exocortex into stuff, and he kind of balls them up and puts them very carefully in a folded up shirt, and then balls up the shirt and sticks that in his coat, and then he kind of stands by the door waiting for you guys.
Well, think of this as an adventure, and we'll be all right. I've done this before many times.
I'm gonna grab. I'm sure there are extra hats at Sebastian's place. I'm gonna grab a hat and I'm gonna like take off my jacket.
They're
just generally
awful. He has a horrible collection of hats.
Okay, I'm gonna go for one of the least ostentatious hats I can find.
Yes.
And generally just try to, take the jacket off, make me look not quite like the person who was just walking around the block.
Okay. Yep, you do so. And the group of you heads out the back way. Sebastian, do you keep your face on, or are you changing it up again?
He will... If they see me again, there's going to be real problems. I'm going to change it. I'm going to change it to look like someone who might have married Mrs. Dostovsky and has regretted it the rest of his life. And I'm going to ditch... Sebastian ditches his coat and ditches his shoes, too. He's walking around in dress socks now.
Okay.
Damn of consequences.
All right.
Commit. Okay.
So you, with that level of care, I don't think I've got much of a chance of finding you, but I'm going to give it a shot anyway. I'm going to give myself a difficulty of 4. Negative. Okay. Cool. So the three of you make your way through the building and out the back way into those alleyways, and kind of wind your way back towards the main road. You have one close call where you can tell that those people are definitely still in the area and are somewhat vigilant, but with your preparations, they don't either recognize you or see you, and you make your way out of the area.
I want to take an Uber to not anywhere remotely actually near the hub, and then switch Ubers and probably do a stint on public transportation. It's going to be a long trip home.
Okay.
Yes.
A slow, careful trip home. That works. Okay. So meanwhile, back at the ranch, Lee and J5 are working on their various projects, and one of them gets a phone call. Which one of you guys wants to take a phone call?
It's definitely Lee.
All right. So Lee, you're working, and your AR registers an incoming communication, and the icon that represents the incoming communication is a skull, like a human skull, a fairly well rendered human skull, like floating in the air, and it does the equivalent of like a ring, and you know that there's a communication waiting on the other side, and all you need to do is kind of like tap the icon to start it.
Open it up.
It is Sin. So as you open it, the skull's mouth opens, the skull grows in AR and seems to envelop you in darkness for a moment, and that passes a second, and you see superimposed over everything in AR, but not to a degree that blocks out the real world, a sort of gray grass plain, and there's a speck of darkness in the distance, and within moments the darkness kind of flickers forward and flickers forward again, and then a figure in a black suit, top hat, cane, but a skeletal face, and you can kind of see, instead of having a shirt, you can kind of see ribs underneath it. It walks a few steps closer, and then it's suddenly like in conversation range with you, and it says, Lee, it seems your job went well.
Yeah, it did.
Excellent. The payment for the information, if I recall correctly, was for you to do an installation for me.
Yeah, that was our agreement.
Excellent. I have recently had some interactions with Lumotech Financial Resources. They are a local brokerage firm in the Boswash Metroplex in Sector 71. I would like an installation there, please. In their building, or there is a high-speed commuter walkway tube that links mid-end corporate housing to the facility itself. Even better if the installation could be in that walkway tube. That would be ideal.
All right. Do you have a theme in mind?
No. I want it to be loud. I want it to be something that attracts the attention of everyone around, and maybe even attracts the attention of those higher-ups in the building, so they would know that they have to pay attention to the little people that come and go.
All right. Make that happen.
Would it be possible for you to make that happen in 24 hours?
I think so.
Excellent. He sends over like a little burst of information. He reaches out with a skeletal hand, and then there's like a flicker of as a raven sort of flies from his grasp up into the air, and that downloads the information into your Exocortex. And it's some of the schematics, including some security notes on the building and the commuter walkway. And it also has a very specific countdown going to a time about like 20 hours or so from now. Does that meet with your specifications?
I can work with that.
Excellent. I will hold you accountable for it. Is there anything else I can do for you?
Not at the moment.
Now then, good luck, Lee. And he bows, and then the AR sort of flickers out, and you're alone.
I put down my my little airbrush. And move over to start jotting down notes.
Okay.
With passion paper.
All right. Good. All right. All right. J5. I think it's probably your turn.
What? What do you want?
All right. I'm looking at my list.
Working here. I'm trying to get stuff done.
Yeah. You get a call from Nakatomi Telecommunications.
From Nakatomi Telecommunications.
Yep.
Spam.
They were your employer once.
Right.
And the call comes through your like your public normal person communication channels, which you don't use very often. But it definitely rings, and the icon is the Nakatomi symbol, and it says Human Resources / Security Division.
I'll answer it, obviously. I'll be like, Thomas Wright, how can I help you?
Mr. Wright, thank you for taking our call. Honestly, I was expecting a machine. We were hoping you'd be able to come in for an interview. We're having some security concerns related to a project that you consulted on when you worked for us, and we would really love to have a conversation with you about some of the details of it.
Okay. What seems to be the problem?
Well, it's something fairly delicate. We were hoping you would come in and talk to us in person.
It's possible. What time frame?
We're available anytime. It's about, I don't know, any time today would be fine. We have regular business hours, and we can certainly make time to accommodate you.
Very well. Let's see. I'll pretend that I'm looking through a schedule. What time is it now, Jay? About approximately.
I'll say it's like 11. In the morning.
Well, since I hate these corporate fucks, the end of the day is around 5 o'clock, right?
Yep.
How about 4:30?
That would be fine by us. Would you like us to send a car?
No. I'll just send me an address and I'll get there.
Excellent. They push the information, and the address of one of their corporate fronts comes up, and you recognize it as a sort of mid-level corporate offices building, but you also know from your time there that there's a fairly significant security presence there as well.
Okay.
And he says, "Thank you so much. We're looking forward to the conversation. If we don't expect you, we'll, or if you don't show up, we will expect you. If you don't show up, we will call to make sure that you're okay."
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you for your
Great.
concern.
All right.
I'll see you soon.
Look forward to it. And he hangs up.
Okay, so Jay,
Yeah.
before anything else happens,
Yeah.
I want to tap his phone and see who he calls next.
That's so funny, because I was just about to say, as you're opening the data that he gave you, you realize it's a virus. So yeah.
Great.
So you
Poot.
absolutely could do that. So let's do here. You're gonna have to do it quickly.
Okay.
So I'm gonna find my.
I'm really bad at doing things quickly.
And Nakatomi. Boots and abilities. All right.
Oh no.
Wrong team. Yep. So, what was it? Did you roll? What was your roll?
I didn't roll yet.
Okay. So
I'm
I rolled a 5.
I'm scared now.
Yeah.
That's a 5.
Well, they're a huge corporation.
Fuck. Well, I guess I just have to roll it, right?
Balls out.
Yeah. Time
Yeah.
to do it.
If you need processing power, we've got it. I mean,
Yeah.
we're all connected, right? We've got stuff we can invoke for spending fate points.
That's true. That's true. And this could be bad. So we'll do the roll and see how it goes. Oh, it goes really badly. Okay, so
Okay, you rolled badly too. I mean, you got 2 minuses and 2 zeros.
I did.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think it's worth it to re-roll, or do you think I'll just get screwed by a re-roll?
I mean,
As some-
statistically, you'll do better on a reroll, but
You don't
matching a 5 is a.
you don't know my luck.
Having just listened to our last session, you rolled that. I said you could probably do better statistically, and you didn't.
Right, exactly.
So I don't know. I would normally say re-roll that, but I don't know.
All right, I'm gonna try it. I spent my fate point. I'm down to 2 now, because we start at 3 every time, right?
Correct.
Okay.
And what aspect are you invoking to do the re-roll?
Rogue Corp IT expert,
Absolutely.
and boom. Son of a.
I'm pretty sure that's what happened last time.
Okay. Well, let's see if we can make this not happen with style. We have some blanket aspects through the connection and things, right? That just sort of hang around.
Yes. Yep. You have whatever you have on your character sheet, and you have "We are all connected." Sigma is with us, and we have the key.
Let's see if we can use "We are all connected" somehow.
How are you going to use that?
I don't know. I'm going to try to think of a situation where this connection allowed me to process things in such a way that everything was much faster.
Okay. So, the way I picture "We are all connected," it has to do with the speed of your guys' own network, but also the sort of interconnectedness of your brains. So, and your experiences kind of bleeding together.
Mm-hmm.
Can you think of something that one of the other people connected to you would know about or would be able to bring to the table to make this more possible?
My first instinct is to go in the Lee direction because she deals with AR and things like that.
Totally.
And would probably have experienced nasty viruses before.
Perfect.
Which is not to say anything about STDs. I meant computer viruses.
Got it. So Lee, tell me a short story about a time that Lee had to deal with either a virus or had to quickly do something with programming that was very delicate.
So back when I was still working as an AR designer for very rich people, I went to this one place that was way off the grid as far as these people are loaded. And the problem there is that there was a young man whose AR was so jammed up that he literally could not function. And no matter how much he was prodded, he couldn't explain what was going on. And so Lee showed up and applied the delicate touch that she was designed for, only to discover that this young man has to have been spending a lot of time looking at porn, and his entire system had been infected.
Nice.
And so it was one of those things that she had to work very quickly to bring it all down before it did permanent damage to his cortex.
Perfect. Okay. So your instincts in that moment flash through your mind, and you kind of almost re-experience that memory. And J5 experiences that memory with you, and then applies that knowledge and instinct to the situation. Perfect. Okay. So that brings you up to a 1. So he's beating you by 4.
Good God, this is awful. Now I want to try to use Sigma is with us somehow.
Okay.
And for this, I'm thinking of a time in a job sort of where I had trouble. And she sort of like mind pushed me through it. Like, stop being a bitch. Like, you know, that kind of pep talk.
Cool. All right. So I'm picturing like you have this memory of her with an assault rifle shooting standing next to you while you're kneeling, and she's shooting over a counter, and you're doing something with wires and an AR, doing something really quick, and you're just like swearing and just about to lose it. And she takes one hand off the rifle, just enough to kind of brush the back of your neck where the data jack is, and she says, she glances down at you, and your eyes connect for just a second, and like her eyes say, "Calm down, you got this." And what she says is, "It's time to step up." And then she goes back to shooting, and you had this like moment of like will and clarity from that, and that's what you tap into now.
Okay.
Okay, that brings you to 4. Right? So wait, is that right?
That's,
Negative
it should
1,
be 3.
1. Yeah, 3.
They're plus
okay.
2. They're plus 2 each, right?
Correct. So now they're not winning with style, but they're still winning. You want to throw your last fate point at it to tie it up?
Is it possible that I could throw a fate point and say just at that moment I was reaching over mentally to get in touch with them anyways to talk about this thing I have to go do?
Yeah. I will, well, because it's quick. Yeah, okay, I'll allow it. What, which, your aspects are you going to try and invoke?
I am going to invoke...
Teamwork, I love it.
Rogue Overlay Artist.
Okay.
Because this is... I'm familiar with viruses getting into these kind of systems.
All right, sounds good. So you send your fate point on that, and Lee kind of was heading in that direction mentally, and then there's this connection, and you're just aware of this moment of panic and complicated data streaming around, and you just kind of start nudging it in place, and you start nudging the data in the right ways, almost automatically without even thinking about it, and then you realize that like nothing that is physically connected to you is doing this manipulation. You're sort of coexisting inside his exocortex, and the two of you are together sorting these strands of data and trying to fight this virus at the same time. Great. So that puts you at a tie. So they would get a boost, but they would not necessarily succeed.
I think that's about all we can hope for, honestly.
Sounds good. All right, then I'm going to go over here.
Like, we turned a -1 into a 5. I'm pretty impressed.
Yeah, that was pretty awesome. All right, then I'm going to do this.
Good teamwork, guys. Thank you.
Yeah. Poop. Okay, got it. All right, I have advanced a clock as a result of that.
Dun, dun, dun.
All right. So you got the virus that they sent to you. You weren't quite able to get a handle on their phone, but you did prevent them from getting any detailed information from you.
That's good. All right, well.
Boom. And now you have a little bit of time, like probably an hour or two, before Chrome and Jax make it back to the hub. So what are you two going to do?
Lee. I don't.
Oh, I don't.
Go ahead.
What was that?
I don't know. I mean, obviously it's a trap of some kind, right? They want me to go to a secure facility about a job I consulted on ages ago. They wouldn't specify which one, and then they sent the fucking virus on me. I mean, obviously I'm not gonna go. They were probably trying to trace where I am. That's probably what they were looking for. Boy, I'm glad we were all here. Oh, well, here.
Yeah.
I point at my head. Well, I think we're lucky right now. How about you? What's going on with you?
I have to go do a quick job.
I give you that look.
So to get the information I traded for an art installation, I've got to go drop this thing off at this place.
Oh,
I should
all right.
give the data where I gotta go.
Yeah, you're not going alone. Unless you want to, of course.
That's why I was poking you in the first place.
Well, I'm glad you did, because whew, it could have been real bad. All right. Do you need to install that now, or?
Yeah, I'm on a timetable.
All right, let's go get that done real quick.
Okay.
Right. I'm gonna throw on some clothes to make me not look quite as obviously shouldn't be in some place that has to do with a lot of money.
All right.
I want to send a quick message to what's his name, Kaode?
Yeah.
Security guy.
Yep.
Just
I'm sorry.
Just a quick message, like people are probing. Be careful. Keep an eye out.
Okay.
I think we're clear, but just in case.
All right. He it takes a moment, and then you get a message back. Yeah. It says, "We'll keep our eyes open. Things have been quiet up here. I don't expect to have a lot of problems."
All right. And while she gets ready, I'm gonna check all the systems, check the firewalls, all that stuff, all the computer gobbledygook that I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
That is cool and sounds great.
Yep.
I'm gonna reverse the polarity on something.
Yeah, you do. That sounds perfect. All right, you do that, and you spend a little time just securing everything to make sure that nothing will go bad or go wrong while you're not here. And then you and Lee are ready to go.
Wait, before we go, do we have a place to store the thing just in case someone comes down here?
I don't think she's gonna fit in a drawer.
What? That's not what I meant.
Do we have do we have lockers that lock for personal effects?
Or that
Yep.
we can hide in?
Hey, don't diss the locker. The
I would
locker
never.
loves you.
I would never diss the locker.
It's gonna know you're in the locker anyway.
It's true.
Yep. Each of your work areas have some area for secure storage. It seems like a lot of the hub worked on a sort of honor system. Like, so you have areas to lock, but you can't like lock your entire area up. They're all kind of open air communal workspaces.
Yeah, okay.
But there are chests and stuff that you can view. The way I see it right now is right next to Lee's like normal work area. There's that additional area where she has the memories of doing some of the Exocortex work, and the body's there, or the full body prosthesis is there, and that's where also the holder is that has the Exocortex in it, and that's not totally secure. Someone could come and take it. It would just be hard to make it secure and stable with the technology at the same time.
Right, okay.
I go over
It's
to
dystopian future, so of course there's open office spaces.
Exactly. No privacy.
Right.
I go over and I stick a pillow underneath the prosthesis head and like my beat up sleeping bag over it and just put a little note that says "Do not disturb."
Nice.
Yeah, really. At that point,
So as you get it all, you put the note on it, you get it all done up, and you're kind of half laughing, and as you turn around, you're still kind of like looking down as you're starting to turn, and you come like face to face with this little blonde girl. Couldn't be more than 6 or 7. She's wearing a t-shirt that has like sort of a faded print of some cartoon character on it. That's a little bit too long for her, goes right just past her knees, and her hair is blonde and curly, hanging just about to her shoulders. And she looks up at you, and she's got like tears streaming from the corners of her eye, and she's got like a bruise on her cheek and just a little bit of a fat lip. And she says, like with this rage in her voice, "I said, just stop it." And then she's gone.
All right, moving on.
I'm feeling feelings and I don't like it.
And then the two of you are ready to go. Okay. So you guys head out. Are you heading directly to that spot, or do you need to make stops on the way?
We're gonna head fairly directly, but I'm gonna, do a little bit of whining just because we've had enough evidence that we should be a little extra careful. So
Yeah, I'll be watching like a hawk in the passenger seat, see if I can notice anything.
Nice. Okay. So as the two of you are heading out, I'm going to cut over to the cyber Uber, and as you're driving there, Teddy is sitting in one corner of the cab, kind of staring out the window. Chrome is towards the middle, and Jax is off to the side. And you kind of glance over at Teddy and Chrome, Jax, and at that moment, a story comes over your over the program you're using to monitor the various headlines and news groups and news feeds. And you get a announcement of a press conference by Akaris Aerospace, and it says, the voiceover says, Edward Dow, child of murdered executive Vasily Dow, has recovered from a period of extended sickness. He has accepted a position at Akaris Aerospace, following in his father's footsteps. And you have this, it's over a scene of a couple of executives standing like in front of a press corps, in front of a very large skyscraper building. There's like filtered in sunlight, so it looks like a bright, shiny outside, but there's no place like that in the Metroplex. And you see these executive types kind of smiling for the camera, and you see a painfully thin man, maybe in his like early 30s, move slowly and carefully into the scene. And he shakes hands with each of the executives and turns toward the press corps and smiles. And then he says, I've lost a lot of time, and I'm very sad at the death of my father. And those who killed my father will answer for it. Eventually, by my hands or the hands of the law enforcement agencies of the Boswash Metroplex. I will not rest until my father is avenged, and I'm very happy to be taking his place in the leadership of such a fine corporation as Icarus Aerospace. Thank you. And he nods, and like the press corps applauds, and then that news clip ends, and it goes on to the next thing.
Okay, I'm going to set the equivalent of a Google alert for this kid. Send that clip out to everyone. And then say, 1, fuck. And 2, he's completely unqualified. And 3, like, how much of a direct screw do you think this is? Like, do we think this is being put out there for us? I mean, I trust the kid's recovered, but
Sebastian starts
he's
patting at
completely unqualified.
his non-existent coat for something. Yeah. I look over at Teddy to see if maybe he's watching the news.
Nope.
No, of course not. Okay.
Can you put parental control on that thing? Like, is there an equivalent to lock your kids out of, brain porn? I don't know.
Probably.
We should do a very special episode of Fate of the Exocortex.
We absolutely
brain
should not.
porn.
Fate of the Exocortex, After Dark.
Nice.
That makes
I'm
mildly
sorry.
more sense.
I love it.
Okay, I'm gonna file that away. I'm trying to pay attention as we take our way home and not get lost in my head looking at all the footage I collected.
Okay.
But that's hard.
Cool.
He's never said anything about a brother, has he?
We know he had a brother, though. His brother, we know that this is what Sigma did to get
That's right.
the dead guy's help, is essentially give his son a download into a new exocortex, new body, everything, which is essentially what we're trying to do for Sigma. That's how we know it's possible. But the kid's been in a coma for a decade or more. So I say again that he is unqualified, and therefore there is something super fishy about this going on.
I'd shoot over to you what I still have of his medical records from when we went and did that particular thing. And being little highlighted bits that basically say that
Thank you.
there was no recovering from this.
Right, and that's why that's why Sigma did the whole thing.
It could have been faked. It's very easy to fake a person.
It's true.
We do it all the time.
Well, I mean, my impression was Sigma downloaded his brain, and it's not unreasonable to think it's been put into a new body. We're trying to do that. If there's cloning whole human bodies, then that's totally possible.
Well, that could mean that, if it is that, then that is telling us that what we're trying to do is definitely very possible. Right? Like you said. I think you said that. Did you just say that? You totally
I did just
said
say that,
I'm
but-
sorry.
No, it's good to have the confirmation, right? But I'm just saying that there is no way a corporation legitimately puts a kid who's been in a coma for a decade? Is that right, Lee?
Yeah.
Into this level of a role just because his dad was someone important. The fact they're having a press conference, it's just a feel-good thing. I could get that from a PR standpoint,
It's
but
also, look at the boy who's with you. He's mentally the same age as when he went down. He's not going to be able to step up and run a corporation. Regardless of physical health, he's not mentally able to.
They
What's
could
the
be
s-
going
what's
for
the,
puppet leadership as well.
What's
Yeah.
the
Right,
stock
is
doing
it
on
a
that
total
company right
fake?
now?
what is the stock doing on that company right now?
It's still fairly steady. They just launched a new a orbital habitat called Atalanta Gold, and it's been very, very popular for the last 6 to 8 months or a year or so as a destination for various corporate types. It's one of the biggest orbital facilities, and it's big enough and far enough out that it has enough centripetal velocity that has equivalent of artificial gravity in 2 of its rings. So they're doing really well.
Is that all? Well. Yeah, because you'd expect. That's bizarre. Was that a real broadcast? Was that genuinely sent over all those waves, or was it just meant to look like it was sent over all those waves?
Pretty sure it was sent over all those waves. I mean, it kicked my news alert. It didn't come to me directly.
Apologies, it's confusing.
No, worth asking.
It's the equivalent of I roll to disbelieve. How far up was... refresh my memory. How far up was Teddy's dad?
Pretty far.
Pretty far. Was he far enough to do what the other son was doing? Was he far enough to assume that mantle of power?
Yes. Yeah. The implication in the news clip was that this kid is basically taking his father's role, and that's done sometimes. Nepotism is a thing, but in this case, it seems really weird. It seems like there would be a huge jump up for this kid.
Perhaps it's not him in that body.
Yeah, that's my thinking.
Well, perhaps it's little kid's not listening, right?
No.
Perhaps it's the guy that we think is dead, or we thought was dead. Maybe he's not dead.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's a lot of possibilities. We just don't have enough. We could theorize for hours.
Yeah.
Oh.
All right. So we're going to cut to J5 and Lee arriving at the installation point. The installation point is the building itself. Lumotech Financial Resources is the middle, like 3 floors of a 16-story building. The big claim to fame for this building is that there's like 16 to 20 blocks away, there's a fairly large building that's all for like corporate housing, corporate apartments, and there's a single commuter tube that leads underground from one to the other. So you can go the whole 16 blocks just by stepping into this tube on like a moving floor sort of thing, like an escalator but without stairs, and you stand on it, it just kind of zooms you along at a high speed along that distance. So you make the whole commute in just like a couple of minutes. And the access to that commuter tube is achieved either from the corporate building or from the housing building. And you have security specs on most of the building and the tube itself, and you know the location of the housing building. What's your approach going to be to get in there?
I'm going to try and walk in like maybe I belong there.
Okay. You're going to go on the business side or on the housing side?
I'm going to go on the... We're going to go on the housing side.
Okay. So you head over to the housing side and you kind of case the building. It looks like a brownstone. The bottom couple floors have been rented out for various retail outlets and whatnot, but the top 10 floors are all fairly high-end apartments and stuff. There's a little sort of central lobby area that has elevators that would go up to the housing floors and presumably down to the tube. And all the stores that face out on the road also have inward facing to this courtyard sort of area where the elevators are. And then there's a second mezzanine level that the second floor of retail stores opens into. So when you walk into the building, you're in this sort of public space surrounded on all sides by storefronts. And then you have a mezzanine a level up, kind of large vaulting ceilings with another row of retail, and then the elevators. You don't see any obvious security at first glance, but after a few moments, you pick out a few cameras and security drones, and you pick out at least one security operative who's dressed in a very nice suit and is walking around with a name tag that associates itself with the building, just kind of chatting with people here and there and meandering around.
I'm gonna walk in with my arms absolutely filled with data slates and papers, and look like someone's very harried secretary.
Nice.
With a coffee in one hand. And I'm gonna try and move like I am late and going to be screwed if I don't get to the other side as quickly as possible and head towards the tunnel.
It's a nice touch, the coffee.
Yeah, it is. Okay, so you gotta start moving quick. And J5, you're sticking with her, or is that the idea?
Yeah, a little bit behind.
Okay.
Not immediately with her, but yeah.
Okay.
In the area.
Cool. So you head over towards the elevators, and as you get closer, you notice that there's they open fairly frequently and let people in and out, and they open when you approach with no problem, and you get on board with a small group of like 3 or 4 other people, and the security guy like glanced in your direction but didn't act or do anything. When you get inside, an AR window pops up with for you to select what floor you want to go to, and the only floors that are accessible by you are this floor and the retail floor 1 floor up. Everything else is grayed out.
So can I get to the tunnel?
Nope, the tunnel will be 1 floor down.
Okay.
Can I fix that?
Yes, please do.
Sure. The elevator starts to move up, kind of slowly making its way up to the 2nd retail floor, and J5 starts to hack.
Yeah.
All right. Sounds good. How are you going to do that? What's your approach?
Let's see. I want to do it cleverly. So basically, I want to make it look like to other people that the elevator's going up, but then the elevator's actually going to go down a level.
Okay. Sounds good.
That makes sense.
It does. Go ahead and roll clever. Difficulty is going to be 2.
Okay, I got a 2.
All right. So that's a tie, and a tie yields. What you are doing is overcoming an obstacle. I have to look that up because I never remember what a tie is. You succeed at a minor cost. So you succeed. The minor cost is going to be that after you leave this area, security is going to be aware that the security was compromised. They're not going to think it was an alert, but they're going to be aware that there was an anomaly.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Can my stunt apply? One of my stunts? I know this system, since it's a generic elevator.
Have you in the past worked on generic elevators?
I mean, we go.
You get to make that up. If yes, that's fine.
We go through a lot of corporate buildings.
You sure do.
Corporate buildings have lots of elevators. I work with elevators all the time.
I buy it. Then yes, you may.
All right, so that should give me +2.
Absolutely, and that lets you overcome it. So you do it seamlessly. The door closes. You have this lurching feeling of going down. The door opens. The other people who are in go to step out and then kind of look confused and pause for a second. And the 2 of you dart out into the underfloor, and the door closes behind you. This floor is smaller, so it doesn't have the same sort of vaulting ceilings from before, but it has linoleum floors that are well polished. There's a security desk, and there's a couple of other, looks like private elevators or lifts that have just let people out on this floor directly from the housing floors above. The walkway is about 15 feet away opposite the security desk, and there's 2 or 3 rows of those moving floors there, and people are stepping on and kind of zipping away instantly as they step. The 2 of you move in that direction, and you are subjected to a security scan where they're looking to see if you have like an RFID chip that recognizes that they recognize. You don't have that, and so they ping your
excuse me,
your ARs asking for your access codes.
Well, I'm sure I can come up with one. That seems appropriate.
All right. What approach are you gonna do?
It's an older code, sir, but it checks out. So I think I want to try to not quickly, but like what I'm looking for is to use Rogue Corp IT Expert to try to find the list of tags that would be available, and just grab one at random.
Okay, that sounds
Or
good.
grab two rather, one for me, one for her.
Nice. What approach? Quick, or sneaky, or clever?
Clever.
Do it.
I like clever.
All right. Looks like we have tied with a 2.
Well, I would feel cheesy if I used the same thing.
I know this system too.
So I get it, like in this case, it would be succeeding with a minor cost.
Yep, and the minor cost would be that you succeed. Let's see, but one of the guards will be curious enough that they will follow you on the thing at a distance.
It's okay.
Okay,
That's good with that.
Perfect. So you grab the codes, you clone them. One of the guys just kind of nods bored and goes back to watching, and the other guy just kind of maybe feels like he saw that code already go by, but isn't totally sure, and so he just kind of strolls out. He's again dressed in a suit. He's not as nice as the suit as the guy upstairs, and if he's armed, it's nothing big enough that you can clock it from a distance.
Right.
And he just kind of wanders over behind you. As the two of you step on and zip ahead, he's probably like 100 feet behind you on this thing.
Gotcha.
It moves pretty fast. Your window of being able to do things is only a couple of minutes.
Okay. I'm going to be muttering to myself to make it like just one of those people that you're a little uncomfortable like looking directly at because you might get their attention. And once we're about a minute in, I am going to misstep, so I fall.
Oh, okay.
Drop everything, spill the coffee, like make this huge mess. It's all over the front of me. And I'm just going to be absolutely distraught over this and trying to pick everything up. Among the things that get dropped are a series of small chips.
Okay.
Which I'm going to use as my reference points as to launch this installation.
Perfect. That's awesome.
But I'm basically going to get up and be like freaking out that like now I can't go in like this now. I'm going to lose my job and like start to move like I need to go back the other way.
Okay. All right.
And I'm going to sob. So this guy wants nothing to do with me.
You are very crafty. You've got great tactics.
I'm envious.
Some sick shit right there.
That's awesome. Why don't you roll flashy for me, please?
Go.
I rolled a -2, so chances are good.
Don't jinx it.
I don't know. I'm rolling pretty poorly, so. Oh my god!
Holy shit!
I think that's the highest one yet, right?
Yep.
Certainly against a -2. I don't think we've succeeded anything by a 9 before.
Oh, that's amazing. All right. Yeah, that's good.
I am so damn good.
That's amazing. Yeah, good. So yeah, it's a huge affair. Like people who you don't even know, who normally don't have a soul, start to feel bad for you and like try to help you gather stuff up. And within a few minutes, they've got you helped you up and have gotten you over onto the one that's going the opposite direction back towards the housing, and you're on your way. And the security guy doesn't even give you a second look, like avoids eye contact and just keeps going. And you get back to the housing thing and can exit pretty easily. And everyone's like going out of their way to try and make it easier for you. Well played.
That's masterful.
Yeah. So
Yeah, shit.
you so you put the chips in place so you can activate it whenever. Are you putting it on a timer, or are you going to do it?
Yeah, it's gonna go off within the window he wanted.
Perfect. Okay. So I don't think I'll forget, but if I do, remind me to have you tell me what the art installation is.
Yes.
I'm curious, but okay. And with that, the two of you escape and head back out. I'm gonna say, oh, do you guys have another place you want to be?
No, I want to head back and get back
Yeah.
to work and make sure everything's okay.
So then all four of you rendezvous at the hub, and all four of you plus Teddy Dow arrive at the same time. You go inside, and Clock KO'd is inside Clock Tower 5, and he is talking to someone at the bar, and it's someone that is familiar to you. It is the guy who was the head of security at Chaos Bleed's place, Boone.
Joy.
Yeah, he's,
Yeah, I'm hoping for Bishop.
Boone is chatting with Kaode, and Kaode is kind of sees you guys walk in, and then repositions himself so that Boone's back is to you, and keeps talking to him. Are you guys gonna do anything or slip by?
I'm going to take that cue from KO and slip by.
Yes.
Yep.
Perfect.
I scoop Teddy into my arms, like so we can move a little faster.
Okay.
And murmur, just don't say anything.
He nods.
Everything's fine, but don't say anything.
You get past him, and you get past him. You get into the back room. You go down to the entrance, and you access the hub. Inside the hub, Soon is there, and he's kind of standing in that central area by the AR sort of pillar of monitors, and he's watching a couple of the monitors, and it looks like he's watching the point of view of a couple of different drones circling Clock Tower 5 at a distance. And true to your wish, Jax, you see Bishop in with a view of one of the drones on a rooftop across the way with a rifle.
Okay, not quite my wish, but I'll take it. At least this time where she hasn't called me up.
All right, and Soon kind of glances over in your direction, and then glances back at the ARs, and he says, "So we're getting scoped pretty hard by these folks."
Oh shit. Kade's talking to one of them upstairs. Any idea what that's about?
Kaode said they're asking about you folks specifically. Something about seeming to think that you frequent this area, and we're denying, but they seem to already kind of know. And I don't think he's come out and said it yet, but Kaode's getting the idea that Boone is looking for that bounty that they put on your heads.
Oh, that's just rude.
Oh man.
I'm pretty confident that Kaode can give him the runaround for a while. But we're going to need to move on this sooner or later.
Yeah, okay.
If they're certain you're here, it's just a matter of time before they get you.
Yeah.
So
I will say over private brain chat. So Bishop said that Chaos Bleeds was getting ready to hit this place since we weren't moving fast enough for her prior to us going and giving her Exocortex info. So I don't know if this is that or this is people collecting on bounty.
I guess there's probably one way to find out, right? We could just call her up and ask. What's your deal?
Okay. I was going to email her, but...
Or email's fine.
I can call. I mean... Yeah, okay. I was going to ask her about this weird team we saw anyway.
Jax, is there maybe some way that we can pause some reports of our presence somewhere else?
Yes, I can absolutely do that. I will, in fact, fake some footage right now.
Excellent.
Like, you people, like, run across the thing and let me step out the background and overlay it and take some old footage of us and change some timestamps and send it to some of my, like, friendly rival people.
Nice. All right.
Just make sure
Good
you
thought,
catch
mate.
me from my left side. That's my best side.
You know, I'll always like you well.
Nice. Okay. So you're going to doctor up some U sightings to put out there to
Yeah.
attract attention away from Clock Tower 5.
Yeah.
All right. I like it. While you're working on that, is anyone else doing anything?
Sebastian is getting Teddy situated as best he can.
Okay.
He's going to give up his cot and lay out a sleeping bag, and I mean it's it's the blind leading the blind here, but in terms of he never thought he'd be moving somebody through our secret bat cave. But and he shows him, things on this desk you can play with, things on this desk, don't touch these things.
Mhm.
These are my yo-yos, don't touch these yo-yos.
He gets really interested in the ledgers that you have in your work area, and he kind of looks over at you and then says, "What's in here?"
Oh, that is that's 1,000 different lives. You're welcome to flip through them if you like. Those are all the people I've been or thought of being since I started doing what I'm doing.
I'm gonna ping you a little warning on that.
Though might I recommend you start with this one because it's more interesting. And I'll pull out an older one that's full of, the preliminary stuff that was around for 10 seconds or died. And while he's flipping through that, I'm going to grab the one that has the bad stuff in it. And I'm just going to carry that around for a while.
Drop some comic books in front of the kid.
Oh, yeah, there you go. Now, here's a real education.
He smiles up at you, and he has this moment where he smiles up at you, and then kind of like gets this weird look and looks at Lee and kind of tips his head slightly to the side, and then like shakes his head and smiles again and says, "Thank you."
Aw, that's adorable. You worked on me. And I'll hook him up with some video games like I do. There you go.
Nice. All right.
Get him
He's,
some Japanese too while we're at it.
Yeah.
Make him feel at home.
he's in kid heaven right now. He's good.
Yeah, he's got 4 people, 3 of whom have no idea what they're doing. 4th one sort of knows what he's doing. And yeah, just stay distracted, kid. There you go. We'll be over here plotting the downfall of civilization.
The revolution against the current power structure. Thank you very much.
Yes, revolution.
Semantics. No, it'll be fine.
Nice. All right.
What are we going to do about the sniper on the roof?
Ask her on a date?
Is it a young lady?
Oh yeah, it's Bishop.
Bishop is across the street.
I remember Bishop.
On the roof, yeah, with a rifle.
She hates me. And that's my fault.
Oh well, I'll go ask her on a date then. I'll take care of it.
Maybe Jax wants the date.
Oh, well, I can go looking like you, Jax.
Read the room.
Thank you.
Sebastian grins. He's not so obtuse. He's a little obtuse. He's not that obtuse.
Nice. Okay.
Okay. I'm going to take a couple quick minutes and do a kind of a quick, dirty still frame pictures of the trio that we saw.
Mhm.
Try to clean it up for lighting and whatnot. And a picture of the victim as well as I can get it. Send the victim out to all of us in case it's anyone Sebastian recognizes. And are we behind this call Bishop plan? I see the potential for that to be a really bad idea, but
Well, I mean, you've got a couple reasons to call. I mean, can you tell us all your secret covert operations knowledge? And would you like to go get some coffee? I don't know.
Okay.
I think it's right out of a storybook. I think it's great.
I'll give Bishop a call.
Okay.
You make sure she can't trace this and stuff, right? Great. Everyone's going to listen in while I talk to the cute girl. Great. But you can make sure she can't trace it, right?
We kind of can't avoid that unless you don't want it to
Yeah, I
happen.
know.
So before you talk to her, are you looking to already have done the leaking of the news out there?
Ideally, yes.
Okay. So why don't you roll? Well, what approach do you think you would take putting that out there? Is it flashy, goes everywhere? Is it clever? Is it careful?
It's certainly not careful because have you met me? Yeah, I would say it's. I'm better at flashy, but I think I like. Yeah, I think I like clever better for this.
Okay. Go ahead and roll it. Your difficulty is going to be opposed by Boone. He's in charge of the operation right now. All right. Looks like Boone is slightly ahead of you there.
Yeah, but I am. Hang on. What am I? What is my character?
Awesome.
That's right. Yeah, but I'm a pirate media reporter, and like, there's one thing I know how to do. It's how to get a story out there. So I'm going to spend a fate point and beat him.
Awesome. Very good. All right. Okay, so that's in the world. And then you said you were going to quickly check your footage for clues and send the information to everybody on the team.
Right, and I want to have a picture of the trio handy to possibly send to Bishop.
Okay. No one recognizes the trio. However, the victim, when you get a good look, Sebastian, you're pretty sure you know him. At a while back, maybe a year and a half, 2 years, he was part of a small militia that you helped evacuate one of their members who had been taken by by Atlas Corporation. You didn't know this guy super well, but you like recognize his face from the background. They had one of their members who was taken and being held someplace. You helped kind of smuggle that guy out.
Oh dear.
Okay.
No, I'll
good.
mention that in subdued tones.
Oh crap! I thought you might know him. I don't think you should go back to the neighborhood.
Do you know how much virtual paperwork I filled out to get that apartment? And you know, what was really interesting about that apartment is that it was mine. Like, legitimately, Sebastian Chrome lived there. That was my address. That's where I get my junk mail. Oh, well, I guess, c'est la vie, as they say.
Yeah, any of us having apartments is too good to last, so
I guess that's true.
we feel you.
All right. Okay, and then you're going to call
Bishop.
Bishop. Okay. Yeah, so you make the call, and you kind of stand so that your AR window is open, and you can see her in the call, and you can kind of see just beyond that the AR from the drone. So you're kind of seeing her from above and behind as she's in the targeting position, and you're seeing the phone angle. And it rings a couple of times, and just long enough that you think she might be thinking about whether or not she should answer, and then she does, and she says, "Hi, I was meaning to give you a call."
Oh, good. I'm afraid I'm not normally the one to be quite so forward, but how are you?
And you can see, like, with the gun in aim, she kind of slowly nods her head. She says, "I'm doing okay."
This is so weird. I love it.
Sebastian's dropping Eves absolutely 110%.
I'm working, and I usually don't take calls when I'm working.
Sorry to interrupt. I just had a couple minutes in the car. I thought I would. It's been kind of a crazy night.
Yeah, everything okay?
Yeah, it is now. I'd love to talk about it over drinks, if you're free, but I understand you're working right now. And I don't want to, be difficult. I know your employer might have. I want to make sure it was pleasure, not business.
She smiles, and in the AR of the call, like you can see her face, but you can't really see like the rest of what's going on. So you just kind of see like almost like half her face, and she kind of smiles, and she says, "I've been thinking about maybe quitting anyway. This job has been strange, and frankly, Boone's an ass. But we're on the edge of a good payday, and I'm having trouble walking away from it."
Yeah, I understand that. But I used to work corporate stuff, and pay was a lot better. Not gonna lie, it was. Good Lord, it was a lot better. But I don't know. Couldn't say money was good, but I guess it wasn't good enough.
What changed your mind?
Have you ever done corporate work?
She nods.
Yeah. There's a difference between what you should be doing and what you're getting paid to do.
I've always thought that what I should be doing is exactly what I was paid to do, as long as I'm appreciated by the people paying me. I quit corporate because I was always going to be the bottom of that totem pole no matter what.
Well, that makes sense. Maybe it's just different in PR. You know exactly how much bullshit they're putting out.
So because of your sort of advanced technology, you see that she's getting a message in AR, and her eyes kind of flick to the side and then flick back to your picture, and she says, "So since you left and you're working on your own, how many assholes do you have to put up with?"
Precious few.
I kind of like the sound of that.
I can't recommend it enough, honestly.
And in the drone's AR, you can kind of see from over her shoulder, you see like the rifle going out, and you see the doors of Clock Tower 5 open, and Boone walks out, and she kind of drops her crosshairs a little bit, and it almost looks like she's sighting up on Boone. And she says, "Does it pay well, what you're doing now?"
Sometimes. It's not steady, but every once in a while, it's definitely worth it.
You think it would be worth it for me?
I'm sure I could toss some work your way and introduce you to a few people.
So she, in the drone's view, she like thumbs off her safety and sort of leans into the rifle a little bit and says, "Where do you want to meet for that drink?"
I will give her the name of a bar that is not Clock Tower 5 and is not the other one we were at.
As soon as you say the name of the bar and it's not Clock Tower 5, she fires. And you don't hear anything in AR, but in the other view, you see the gun cough. And she says, "I'll meet you there. Half an hour?"
Oh, that sounds great. I'm really looking forward to it.
I love this woman.
And she says, "Okay, gotta go, bye." And she hangs up. And in AR, she's up and disassembling her rifle and walking away from the rooftop.
Holy shit. Yes.
Sebastian gives you a horrified look.
Wasn't quite how I pictured that going.
You underestimate your charms, Jax.
Or something. Shit.
Please,
Okay, so what can we toss her way? Like, security-wise, this isn't...
please don't ever try to convince me to do anything.
Yes, please. No.
I'll just
No,
do
no.
it.
Yes.
Okay.
Security-wise.
God, she's cool. I'm going to give myself a minute to just be flustered.
Did someone ask a question? I thought I heard a
Yes.
question.
Work that we can possibly give her that isn't necessarily, I mean, maybe it is protecting us, but that we can pay. Work that would pay her that is not her current employers, who she just, yeah.
Well, I mean, we're going to have jobs in the near future, right? In the immediate, we have things we need to do.
And she's a good shot.
Clearly. Yep, very professional.
You see, meanwhile, in the background, Soon's eyes just like when the shot went off, Soon's eyes got really wide, and he kind of like slowly inched away from all the AR, and then ran for the door and went upstairs.
Yeah, I will. I don't know. Yeah, I guess I should take. I will message KO an apology for the cleanup.
You
It's
get back
outside, right?
a text message that's just ...
Yeah.
I try to, for all it's a text message or whatnot, give the strong impression of like, what? I'm not my intention. Sorry.
Okay.
Man, we can never break up.
Yeah. Yeah, you're in it to win it.
All right. Okay. So, what do you guys? Does anyone else have anything else pressing they want to do right now?
Get changed.
Okay.
Put on makeup. Look
Yeah,
good.
changing out of my coffee drenched clothes.
Nice.
Sebastian holds up 2 Kevlar equivalent vests. I'm not sure which one's going to go with your top, but he just shakes his head. She seems delightful. He's forcing that out.
Are you going alone?
Please no. I mean, I don't know that anyone else wants to come inside, but I would love some reinforcements nearby.
I'll go.
I figure if it comes down to her wanting us dead, I'm kind of fucked, but I mean in the bad way, but if there's other problems,
I'll
I
go
wouldn't
and
mind
I'll
assistance.
keep my distance, I promise.
Thank you.
She hates me.
Yeah, that's probably a good idea.
Okay. So the two of you, your next stop is going to be the meeting with Bishop. All right. And Chrome and Lee, do you have anything pressing you want to do?
I go back to working on the prosthetic.
Okay. Sounds good. All right. And Chrome?
Chrome pushes aside some books and pulls out a little bottle of something and pours himself a finger. And sips at that and kind of sits down on the edge of his cot. Just shakes his head.
You could research your role in the injury.
Yes. I will do that. Be good to take my mind off things.
All right. So the two of you then take off. You make your way out through the bar, and there's a police presence, and there's KO'd kind of talking to some of the police. And you see, before you head upstairs, over the internal security, you see Costas and Fontaine talking to KO'd outside.
These fucking guys.
I'm going to say that it's fairly easy to kind of work your way out a side entrance or a back entrance and get out. So you don't need to worry about them unless you want to. But they're definitely there and still involved in asking questions. The other thing you notice is that they're the only two talking to KO'd, and there's a couple of uniformed police types walking around the area collecting evidence and whatnot. And then you have one person watching. And that person is watching from this side of the street near the clock tower, but just a little ways out, near a really nice car that seems out of place for this street. And he's wearing a sort of a dark suit, and he has his skin is all like replacement skin, so it's not a natural flesh tone. It's a sort of darker, almost metallic ebony looking skin, and his eyes are shining a bright yellow. And he leans on the expensive car and he's just looking at the watchtower. And he just puts out this vibe that attracts your attention. And then you leave.
Okay, I'm going to kind of stumble hang on J5. Like, I've had a little too many. We were out on a date. We're totally, a couple that's going home. And I am going to try to zoom in and get some pictures of him and the car, as just so, like, you're just looking down the street and then you turn the other way, but I want to get a couple of frames of who this guy is and his license plate.
Okay. It's a little bit challenging. He seems to have some sort of onboard sensor suite that is kind of not scrambling your cameras, but some of the more active stuff where you're sending out information and it's reflecting back is getting scrambled a bit. So you have to kind of go old school with some of the just purely optical scans and pictures. But just that tells you that he's got some pretty state-of-the-art stuff on board. Yeah. Let's see.
If we get a shot of his plates, we can run those. Oh, he looks amazing.
Nice.
So you get those pictures and then you sort of wander off down the street. And then you take off for the other bar. Okay. What's that other bar look like?
I'm gonna go for a little, like, not super upscale, but definitely, everyone's got the more trendy look. Less a place you shoot people in. Fancy mixed cocktails with names and funny shaped glasses. Lots of house-infused liquors, that kind of thing.
All right. Cool.
Hopefully less gunfire.
So you pull up at this place looking great. And and Bishop doesn't fit in so well.
Okay.
She's not wearing the sort of overcoat poncho thing that she had to for camouflage on the rooftop. Instead, she's wearing what looks like an unzipped gray hoodie over a tank top. She's got just like a trace of tattoos around each shoulder, kind of coming up towards her neck a little bit, and some scar tissue that kind of the tattoos kind of wind into the scar tissue and cover some of the scar tissue. That covers a big chunk of her neck. Otherwise, she's wearing like cargo pants and combat boots, and she has her hair kind of swept back in a ponytail, with just a couple of strands kind of loose around the sides. And she is sitting at the bar when you walk in.
Does she have a drink yet?
She does.
Okay. Well, I hear congratulations are in order. You quitting your job? Is it official?
She looks nervous when you say that, and then she kind of relaxes and says, yeah, it's pretty official. I am unemployed.
Terminated.
Congratulations.
She does a half smile and says, it's something I've been looking forward to for a long time, and I'm happy to have had this opportunity to step away.
Well, I'm glad to be your excuse then.
Yeah.
I'll order something. What is she drinking?
She's drinking a whiskey.
I will order something similar.
Nice.
And she smiles and sits down and order a whiskey, and she says, or your drink, and she says, you and your friends attract a lot of attention.
Uh-oh. I've noticed, but if you're bringing it up, dare I ask what that means?
Chaos Bleeds said we weren't needed to hit the clock tower anymore. But then comes down this whole other offer. Pretty big bounty. And pretty clear indication that it's you folks. And Boone,
Okay.
already knowing where Clock Tower 5 was and already knowing that it was where you were pulled up, was in a position to try and collect on that.
Oh, shit. Is that something... Do we need to worry about him trying to track us down?
You need to worry about being tracked down. I'm not doing it anymore. But there's going to be a lot of people who are.
Well, I'm glad to hear this is pleasure, not business. It
She
explains my night, though.
she smiles like she's not quite sure how to smile. Like she, and then she just takes a drink, and then like stares at the drink for a minute, and then looks back at you. He says, "You know that Alice girl? She's pretty sure you're not a real person.
How so not real?
I think she thinks you're an AI."
Is that flattering coming from a techie? I mean, maybe from a techie that's flattering? Should I take that as a compliment?
She like shrugs and says, "I would. I mean,
All right, I will then.
I always thought you were a real woman, but..." And she like looks back at the drink and sips. So you're not, right? You're not some...
Not an AI. Definitely not an AI. Unless it's some weird Inception thing where I don't know it, but the programmers would have a lot to explain about my childhood if they'd made that shit up.
I'll drink to that. And she drinks. And then she says, so what are you doing?
You know, trying to... so I don't let a good story go very easily. And we're kind of pissing some people off in the process. The shit corporations are doing, they don't want to talk about. Like, I thought it was bad when I worked there. Like, you have no idea.
She kind of nods and says, yeah, I can relate to not wanting to let go of something once it's caught your interest.
They're never breaking up.
But I'm not sure I share your idealism. I mean, bad things happen.
Okay. Yeah, they do. And bad things are always going to happen, but fewer bad things could be happening. And there's a lot of good, like the things we could be doing, but right now it's just for the rich. Like, yeah, I don't know. I guess I'm kind of an idealist, but
I'm all for not
That'd
letting
be-
bad things happen, but I'm mostly into not having bad things happen to me or mine. But outside of that, I guess you want to make the world a better place. That's a good thing.
don't you think so?
My holy sword says you shouldn't be traveling with us.
At the risk of making this briefly business, can I get a pair of eyes on something?
Yeah.
So I briefly almost ran into these guys earlier tonight. I'll send her over the picture.
She raises an eyebrow and says, "That's Vandrin. She's they are a mercenary company. They mostly do work with Atlas."
Well, shit, you get framed for one goddamn murder that we didn't do.
If the murder you didn't do wasn't someone for Atlas who had a contract with Atlas, they could care less. These people, she kind of nods at the picture in the AI and the AR, are people that are brought in for cleaning reoccurring problems. So they're not someone that get called in because one bad thing happened. They're people who get called in for a bunch of bad things happened over time, and someone needs to answer for it.
Okay. Well, shit. So this thing you were mentioning with Boone, that's not the same thing. They're not doing this for a bounty?
Probably not. They're not typically bounty hunters. I mean, they take contracts, but only through Atlas. And while the bounty on you is very, very attractive, I don't think it would be enough to sway them away from Atlas. Atlas takes care of everything. They're not. She kind of taps at the masks that they're wearing, or points at the masks that they're wearing. They're not exactly healthy people. They do some dark stuff, and I'm not sure that. And Atlas lets them. Atlas gives them the cover and the opportunity to do the bad stuff. They wouldn't walk away from that.
Okay. Oh, I'm glad my night wasn't any more interesting before I got here. It's a much better kind of interesting.
She almost doesn't catch that because she's kind of looking so intently, and she's got this sort of look at those at that picture, like she's almost like this predatory look. And then she catches what you said and kind of and smiles and saves that picture in her AR and looks back at you. If you keep pissing off the corporations, they're going to keep sending people like this after you.
If we blow the story wide open enough, they won't be able to.
Unless you're blowing the story open with explosives and bullets, there's always going to be someone coming after you. I hope it's worth it.
Me too. Not against using the explosives and bullets, to be honest, but pen is mightier than the sword and all of that. I'm kind of old-fashioned that way.
She smiles. And says, I like old-fashioned things. So she kind of turns back to the bar for a minute and orders another drink, and then says, do you need help?
I mean, tonight could have gone a lot worse. So I maybe, I don't know. I don't want to, if you're having a drink, it's really nice. I don't want to bring a bunch of, I don't know, stuff into it, but I don't want to bullshit you either. So sometimes, yes, probably soon. Laying low isn't really my strong suit, so I'm a little worried about that.
I'm a little worried about how badly you lay low too. If you need me, give me a call. And if you've got time in between the bad times and you want to pass that time with me, give me a call.
I'm sure we'll be in touch. For both, probably.
Good.
Definitely for the latter.
She smiles at that and says, next time, though, let's just go to a shooting range or something. The drinks here are expensive.
That sounds like fun. It's a deal. It's a date.
All right. Anything else you want to talk to her about?
Maybe just a little more getting to know you, kind of small chat, flirty stuff.
Okay. Sounds good. I would happily sit here and roleplay flirting with you all night, but it's heading towards 10:23, and I want to do at least one more thing before we talk about the next job. And we're kind of on target to wrap up at 11. Does that sound okay to everyone?
Sounds good to me.
Awesome. Okay. Very, very good. All right, so you continue to talk with Bishop, and you continue to get the impression from her that she's hasn't made time for a lot of human contact in her life over much, and is kind of new at making space for someone else in it. That she's kind of buried herself in her job for a very long time, and she kind of liked it that way. But now she's kind of getting outside that box, and she's a little uncomfortable with it. Doesn't really know.
How do people?
Yeah. But you are very good at it, and so you're kind of teaching her a little. She's an apt pupil. All right. Cool. I've lost my list. Where's my list of bad things? There it is. All right.
Wait, list of bad things?
Yeah, I have nothing but bad things that happen to you guys. I don't have a list like fun times.
Oh man.
God damn it.
All right. So the things that are left on my list is 4 o'clock has come and gone, and J5, you are getting 1 billion phone calls from Nakatomi
Son of a bitch.
because of your missed appointment. And they're just leaving very polite messages and the occasional virus. But
You bunch of bastards.
none of them are like intense enough that you have to worry about it. You know they're coming now, and you're prepared for them. You previously, Lee, had put a sort of a program in place to monitor the movements of people who were looking at your work, and it looked like someone who might be Pascal was kind of rampaging through some of your work, and someone else who had a lilac as a tag was taking like a grand tour of your work, and you had it sort of worked out that if they were in the same place at the same time, you'd get a notification. That notification happens now. That they're both in the same area of one of your installations. It may not even be an active installation, but it was a location that that you made somewhat famous by one of your installations. Can you make up what that might be and tell me?
I'm gonna say that we made an entire city block look like the deep ocean.
Nice. Awesome. All right. The two of them are definitely in the area of that block now. It's up to you if you want to do anything or not.
I'm gonna go see what's going on.
Okay.
Yeah, do it.
Very good. So you slip out. At this point, the stuff at the front of Clock Tower 5 has kind of wrapped up, and KO'd is looking like exhausted, sitting in a chair near the door, and he just kind of looks up as you walk through, and he kind of raises his beer and salute as you walk by, and goes back to drinking.
I give him a pat on the back as I go by.
He smiles up at you, and then you head out. It's not too far away, so it's like a couple of blocks walk, a jump on a subway, off a subway, another block walk, and you're in that area. Who are you looking for first? Or does it matter to you?
Pascal, since I know what I'm looking for.
Okay. So you start looking around for him, and let's see. I picked that for him. Grab that. Almost. My mouse, sometimes my mouse listens to me, and sometimes it just makes it hard. There we go. Boom. Okay. So you find him, and he is standing with his back towards you in a alleyway near the edge of the emplacement. And inside the alleyway, there's a woman. She's young. She's maybe 19, 20. She's pretty clearly someone who's living in the streets. Like, she has a backpack on that's got a sleeping roll attached, and otherwise it's a pretty put together backpack, but she looks like she's camping. She's wearing big camouflage pants with lots of pockets, a button-down shirt under a light coat, and she's got a cap on, and her hair is kind of brushed back hanging down the back of her neck, short, sort of bluish hair. And the cap has a lilac printed across the front in reality and in AR. And she is angry and is looking at Pascal. So it's like her looking at Pascal, and then you're behind Pascal.
Mhm.
And Pascal is kind of stalking towards her, and she is just on that edge of angry and moving forward, and thinking she should back up when you arrive.
Okay.
As you're watching, she does kind of go from forward motion to backward motion, and her hands go up, and you can tell that she's seeing something in AR that's making her uncomfortable. And Pascal doesn't stop until he's like 3 feet away from her.
I go up behind him as quietly as I can and then tap on his shoulder.
Okay. Go ahead and make a stealthy check for me. Nice. Yep, you get up to him, absolutely no problem. And in fact, you have him completely by surprise when you tap him on the shoulder, to the point where he's a little bit off balance. He turns suddenly and violently towards you as you tap him on the shoulder, and you see that he is holding a black automatic in his hand, a pistol, and he was pointing it at her. And when you tap, he spins and points it at you, like before he even really sees that it's you.
As he's turning, I have a can of spray paint waiting to get him right in the face.
Nice. Okay. As he turns, you notice that his face is like he looks like he hasn't slept in days. His skin is kind of splotchy. It's covered in like smears of dirt and stubble. Looks like he's a mess, and his AR flickers into existence for a moment as he turns, and it's like a chaos of like madness. It's flashes of different images and light and sound, and just like this intense burst of chaos. And in the midst of that chaos, kind of in the middle of it, you see a glimpse of a red skull kind of looking out from that chaos. And then it flickers back out, and it's just his crazy face and a gun pointed at you. And you let him have it?
Yeah.
Nice. Okay. Go ahead and roll. Let's see. I don't know. What approach do you think that would be? He certainly doesn't see it coming, so it could be sneaky. It could be clever, or...
Let's go
probably
with
clever. Yeah. Okay. Do that.
What?
Wow.
What?
Okay, so I think you are entering your bonus, and it's already automatically adding your bonus. Because that was you gave yourself a +8 on that one.
Okay, let me try that again.
So click it, and then when the window comes up, just enter a 0 or hit OK. Geez, still an awesome roll. Yep. Still an amazing roll, but awesome. And because you have the off-balance boost from sneaking up on him, you can add that as well if you need to. I'm going to defend. So he's going to defend quickly. And what he does is you go to try and spray in his face, and he just tries to get his hand up to cover most of it. But he does not. Okay. So he takes a face full of the spray paint, and he like snarls and makes this face and starts blinking his eyes as tears start to well up, and he stumbles back, and he just starts pulling the trigger on the pistol it coughs once and twice, and like spitting bullets wildly across the alleyway, and the girl screams, and then jumps on his back, like jumps on trying to like grab him. And he's bigger than her, but she's doing her best to kind of hold on and hold him back. What do you do?
I'm gonna try and get the gun from his hand.
Okay. So the gun coughs again, and you start trying to wrestle the gun away from him. Go ahead and roll forceful, and I'll give you a +2 from her assistance. Okay. So at this point, he's holding on to his gun. Do you want to spend any fate points to try and bump that up?
Can I use the unbalance?
Yeah, totally. That'll put you at a tie. And in a tie, in this case, you would succeed at a minor cost. So I'll say you succeed, but either you or the girl takes a bullet.
I think it would put her up. Did you add your +2, Aaron?
Not from her, no.
Oh, from her.
Bennington's head start.
Never mind. You win. You don't get shot. You and the moral of the story is always call the game master on his bullshit. Well done. So you grab the gun, and how do you wrestle it away from him? Do you is it skill? Is it just pure force? Is it what does that look like?
She just kind of like grabs it and snaps it in the wrong direction of his hand, so he's forced to let go or break his wrist. Okay.
All right. So he actually kind of splits the difference. He tries to hold on, but doesn't. And you hear the crack of his finger as the trigger guard bends his finger back. And he yells again. And this whole time, he's like this stream of anger and profanity. And he's kind of staggers to the ground. And the girl pushes him down a little bit and just kind of backs up and starts like looking around frantically, like she's looking for an escape. And he holds his broken finger, and he just looks up at you with this look of hate and says, I will kill you. Maybe not today, but I will kill you.
Yeah? That is your plan?
He's like blinking, can barely see. He's got a broken finger, and he stands up, and it looks like he goes to leave. And then that AR flickers into place just for a second again. And it's almost like you're not meant to see it, but something in your AR is picking up his AR. And you see that that like burst of chaos again, and he almost cringes and flinches and turns back towards you and blinks again. And just kind of yells. It's almost incoherent, and he starts like moving at you, still like holding his broken hand, but like almost clawing at you with the other hand, trying to hit you. How are you going to defend?
I'm gonna nail him in the nuts.
Nice. That sounds forceful. Go ahead and roll it. Okay, he's up on you by 2. You are definitely tough enough to absorb that hit if you don't want to spend fate points. But at this point, he will be hitting you with his hand.
Remember, you have the blanket aspects as well. We are all connected to Sigmas with us, etc., etc. So you can use those.
That's true. I am going to tap into Sigma's with us.
Okay. And what do you get from her?
Everything.
I remember at one point Sigma trying to give me training to defend myself, considering I cannot actually use guns and other weapons because of the sensitivity of my networking in my fingers.
Nice. So you have this lesson of her saying, hands and fingers are already vulnerable parts of the body, and you have this memory of her grabbing your arm and pulling it up and like slapping your elbow and saying elbows, knees, head. Those are the things you want to be striking with. And if you're going to strike with the head, only hit them right here in the nose. Anywhere else, you're in trouble. And you remember that, and you get your knee exactly where it needs to be. The +2 puts you even with Pascal, so he gets a boost, but does not hurt you.
Okay.
His boost is going to be frenzied. And it's your turn.
So when do I hit him? Does he crumple at all?
He flinches a little bit, but no, he doesn't. Crumples a little bit, like he bends a little bit, but he didn't take any damage because it was a defense. But he definitely like responds to the hit, and it's like, ugh.
So I'm gonna take advantage of that half second where he is not moving directly towards me.
Yep.
And I'm going to lay my fingers down on him.
Oh, okay.
And I'm going to attempt to shut him down.
Okay. What approach do you want to use?
Because I have interfacing tech embedded in my fingertips running to my brain, I can gain access to something I have no business being able to.
Oh my god.
Uh-oh. This is going to go horribly awesome or horribly bad.
That's exactly what's going to happen. Okay. So you lay your fingers on him, and you just open up his AR, and you open up his cortex implants, and you are, in that moment, have complete access to everything that is cybernetic about him, and all of the points where the cybernetics interact with the biological. And you know instantly that his implants are being occupied by a clone of a massive artificial intelligence.
Shitballs.
And that it's like the smallest sliver of its awareness has been put in place here, and it's in constant communication with the greater whole elsewhere, and that it's been interacting with him and whispering to him. And in the moment you do that, like that chaos is all around you. It's you are in the middle of this storm of noise and sounds and subliminals that are programmed to drive someone mad to anger and rage. And you are this one calm spot in the middle of that storm, and Pascal is there, like at your fingertips. And the bit of him that's still him kind of looks up at you and says, "Kill me."
Okay. So I'm going to shut that AI. I'm going to cut him off completely.
Okay.
From the AI. Maybe by causing his hardware to malfunction in a way that.
Yeah, that works. So you crash his hardware, and you crash it pretty hard, and it's repairable because you're just messing with some of the programming, but it's now non-functional, and there's a kind of a screech of rage in the chaos around you, and then it suddenly goes silent, and it's almost like you were in this whole other world a minute ago, and now it's just the two of you kneeling in the streets, or him crouched in the streets, dropping to his knees, and you standing in front of him with your fingers on his forehead or on his temples.
On his temples.
On his temples. And he is kind of like sags in relief, and kind of looks up at you with this wild look.
Are you okay?
I don't know. It's quiet. It's very quiet.
Yeah, you had some nasty stuff running around in your head.
Did I hurt anyone?
I look at the girl. You okay?
She's like wide-eyed, kind of standing back, and she just nods. And then like crosses her arms and backs up a little bit, just keeps watching.
I step a little bit to the side so that she could get by us if she feels the need to. I don't think so. I think you're okay.
I thought I killed you a bunch of times. I kept having to kill you, and then it would stop for a little while. Something hates you, Lee. Something hates you a lot.
Yeah, something does.
Did you get rid of it? Am I okay now?
I go in and just kind of poke around, trying to get some security back up in his AR.
The minute you bring it even remotely back online, it's immediately compromised, and you crash it again.
Yeah, I don't know if the tech in your head is reparable.
That's okay. If it's this quiet, that's okay. Can you keep it turned off?
I put something in place to keep it dysfunctional.
He nods and he says, "Thank you. I don't know what's happening, Lee. I think I should probably go away from you."
Might be best for both of us.
Are you still holding the gun, or did you put it down?
No, I still have it.
Okay. He looks at it for a minute, and has like this like thoughtful sort of look, and then he pulls himself up to his feet and cradles the hand and kind of wipes at his eyes with the back of his sleeve, and he says, "I'm sorry." And then he just turns and walks away.
Hey guys, did you catch that?
Holy shit.
Sebastian snorts to wakefulness. Oh, yes, job well done.
So he's hacking people.
Yeah, that's what, if I remember right, that's what Sigma was afraid of,
Yeah.
right? People turning into zombies and... Yeah.
Mm-hmm. The girl says, "Thank you? This is gonna sound weird, but are you Lee Bansky?"
I'm a friend.
She nods and says, "Okay. I'm Kova. I'm a big fan of hers. Could you tell her that?"
I'll let her know.
"Thanks." And then she like slowly inches around you and says, "Thanks again." And then she kind of takes off.
Before she goes, I say, keep an eye out on, just mumble, an area close to where I've just put up this installation.
Nice. Okay. She smiles and puts her hand on the wall and leans for a minute and then pushes off and walks away. And where she pushed her hand in AR, a lilac blooms out of the wall and kind of climbs up the wall a little bit and reaches up towards the sky, and then turns into like motes of light and disappears. And she's gone.
I head back.
Nice. Well, you saved her from being shot. I have in my notes, shoots Kova, but you stopped her. Nice. All right. You head back. Anyone else have anything they want to do before we talk about the next job?
Nope.
Awesome. What is the next job?
Nope. We quit.
Somebody.
We quit? Game over, man. Game
Yep,
over.
That's it. We're all done. I think the next job is brain.
Brain.
Yeah, we got to get
Yeah.
the brain.
All right. What sort of job do you want to do that?
It's a mind job, man.
It's a mind job. It's that last bit took a little longer. It's like 10:50. Do you want to try and plan the job and run the job next time?
Yeah, we can do 10 minutes of planning and
Yeah.
and call it right at 11 like you planned.
Sounds good. All right. So, is Leandry going to be the target there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, I believe so.
Awesome. All right. So you already have a ID for Leandry, and you have at least the name of somebody who works there. You know that they could develop. They might have the technology available to get the brain, and if not, they certainly have the raw materials to get as close to what you're looking for as you could possibly. They're the best place to go for that. Are you thinking another con job like you did before? Are you thinking a break-in and entering? Are you thinking kidnapping? Breaking and entering? What are you thinking?
Weren't we just are we gonna go and just grab the information and do it ourselves? Was that what?
I
So
don't.
we talked about possibly doing a run to like try to figure out where they're at tech-wise, so we knew if we were like growing a brain or just stealing a brain they had lying around, or kind of a better idea of what the options there were. The difficulty with that is that we need to get in to have a hardware device that can help Lee and J5 hack in or something like that. That ideally would leave Sebastian's persona there still viable if they had to go back in again. Is that still what we're thinking?
I like that plan.
Yeah.
I
You know,
can do that.
And we can leave the smuggling a brain out in a purse for later.
All right, that sounds good. So the idea would be to gain access to Joni Averson's sort of mainframe, and then plant your own back door, and then hack in, get the information you need, and leave the back door open for a future operation.
yes.
Cool. All right. Each of you can take one action between now and starting the run of the plan. You can either work on your various independent projects there, or you can put legwork into the plan itself. You can assume automatically, like we did before, that all the boring legwork is done. When we start the thing, it'll be set up. It'll be you'll have a reasonable chance of success. Any time that you spend on it now is just going to increase that further, or set you up with those pre-charged create advantages that you had last time.
I'm gonna spend the time working on the little bit of hardware to get us a back door.
Okay. Go ahead and roll to do so. Difficulty would be 2. And, well, actually, no, I'm going to resist that with the job here. Where are my jobs? There it is. All right. Let's make a copy of that. There we go. And this will be the entry job. Okay. And it's going to be 3. Okay, cool. All right. Boom. I rolled a 1. So you only need to beat that. That's not too bad. Where do I put that? There it is. Okay, so go ahead. What approach are you going to use there? Clever or careful?
Clever.
All right, go ahead and roll it.
Excuse me.
You
Careful
are.
with other people.
That was really well done. All right,
Okay.
so you succeed.
You're just gonna roll everything for the rest of the game.
Seriously. Yeah. You succeed with style, so you will have the aspect on the job prepared, hacking device, and you're gonna have 2 free invokes on it.
Nice.
Oh, that is awesome. 1, 2. All right. Cool. Jax, what are you gonna do?
I'm going to do a little bit of review, like names I know at Leandri, layout of the building. But I'm not going to spend most of my time working on my big story. Since I've been neglecting that a bit.
Sounds good. When you're working on that, do you see that as careful or clever or what?
No, we're not going for subtle on this piece.
Okay.
This is going to be forceful or flashy.
Oh.
And I want to try to incorporate anything I can reconstruct from interview with Sigma from a period that I know is mostly wiped, but she will kill me if that entire interview is gone. So I work trying to reconstruct some of that and get some footage if Lee has any of that whole thing that went down with that, slightly blurred, but.
Gotcha. All right, sounds good. Go ahead and roll difficulty of 2, and if you succeed, you'll get 1 click. If you succeed with style, you get 2.
Cool.
Not quite there.
Can I spend a fate point on that?
Yep.
I'll spend a fate point on that.
Okay. That'll put you at a success.
Thank you.
No problem. And you've started progress on the great work. All right, Chrome. What are you working on, Sebastian?
Well, he's already got the persona, and he really can't have Teddy stay in the Batcave. So I reckon he's going to work on carefully moving him somewhere safe.
Sounds good. Difficulty 2, and succeed with if you succeed 1, and succeed with style 2. So that's a success. Nice job. And
He's got it. We can't keep him in the Batcave.
that makes sense. So you reach out to some of your old contacts and start asking some questions, and you find that you find someone and say who you know. You made some calls. You trust this person. You get him on the line, and he seems surprised to hear from you, but happy to hear from you. And says, "Yeah, I'd love to help if I can. Just one."
Yes, just one. Just the one.
All right. Any special sort of preparations I need to make?
It needs to be really good. Really, there might be people looking for him. It can't be. We're not just moving. Sorry. It needs to be really good.
Okay. All right. I'll put together some ideas for plans, and I'll push them your way.
Thank you very much.
No problem. I'll be in touch. Bye. Okay. And J5.
I was trying to think of something fancy, but I couldn't think of something fancy. So
Okay.
I'm just going to work on decoding the Exocortex.
Okay. Sounds good. Is there anything in particular you're looking for in the decoding process? Any specific information? that you think might be in there?
Yeah. The whole situation with Dow and how we got there and what happened and all of that nonsense.
Okay. Sounds good. Difficulty is going to be 3. If you succeed, you get 1 click. If you get succeed with style, you get 2.
Okay. I'm gonna go with clever.
Okay.
Question: Am I familiar with this system at this point?
Yeah, I'd say so.
Okay, I'm gonna use my stunt then. I'm gonna use I know this system,
Nice.
which will put me at 4.
Cool. That's a success. So you make progress on decoding it, and you get you get a couple of exchanges, data in the exchanges that implies to you that Vasily was working closely with you guys, and that the change to having Sebastian have to pose to be Vasily was a last minute thing. You get a scrap of a conversation between you and Jax about a late night call from Vasily asking for help because someone was in his someone had hacked his computer at his house, and he was afraid that his house's security was compromised, and you and Jax agreed to go and try and help him out. You have a little bit of a memory of this kind of triggers a little bit of a memory of you and Jax in a gunfight with some you think now looking back Atlas security people, and trying to evacuate Vasily from his home into a car, and then taking off from there.
Okay.
Cool. Very good.
We got that something, and then Jax and I are hauling his body into my house. That's awesome.
Exactly right. But you're fairly certain you didn't kill him.
Right.
I'll take it.
That is good news.
Solid win.
The last thing I want to throw out there is just another news thing that comes across, is that an inside source on Atalanta Gold reported that Joni Averson of Leandri and Porter Riordan of Icarus Aerospace are reportedly spending a lot of time together, and reports that they've been spending a lot of time together at Atalanta Gold in private suites. It's in the gossip column. It's not a big deal, except that Joni Averson's very well placed at Leandri, and Porter Riordan is a name you've heard as well from Icarus. They're both people who have been involved in projects that that Dis mentioned to you when he was talking to you before. So you know they're both in charge of projects that are related to Project Slaughterhouse and probably part of the association. Boom.
Okay.
All right.
So when that timer goes off,
Mhm.
and the art,
Oh, thank you. Good call. Yeah.
that entire hallway is going to bloom into a forest. This big deep creek forest.
Nice.
But instead of leaves, it's going to be money.
Nice.
A forest full of money, so that when you start getting people with higher level clearance coming down, like execs and stuff, start coming down the hallway to like check out what's going on. The moss and greenery at the bottom of all these trees is going to pull back enough to show the bodies of their employees.
Nice. That's awesome. Cool. Do you have? Did you sign it with a lotus?
Yeah, there is a lotus in there somewhere.
Okay. Very cool. It is. It attracts a lot of attention, up to the point of the news featuring it. And as you're catching that sort of headline and kind of smiling about it, the news then says, and at the same time that this was happening, Lumotech Financial Resources was hit by a shadow operative team and robbed and everyone on duty in the office killed.
You had to know. You had to know that's what that was for.
I figured he was gonna rob the place. I didn't know he was gonna go start murdering people.
Yeah, we do it all the time. It's fine.
It's what we do. All right, and we'll end there for tonight.
Thanks so
everybody.
much for running, James.
Oh, my
Thank
pleasure.
you.
This was a lot of fun.
Good
Yeah.
job.
I had a blast. Thank you, James. Thank you, Aaron Sarin, and the other guy there with the face. Yeah, that's the one. Nate. Thank you guys very much for everything. I hope you all had a blast. I certainly did. I think we're just gonna call it.
Great.
I'm tired.
Yeah.
You're making me feel feelings, and I'm mad about it.
Okay.
I'm
All
not
right.
mad. All right, guys. Good night, everyone. Thank you very much.
Good night. Take care.
Good night,
Talk to you
everyone.
later.
Bye.
Good night, nerds.
Good night, nerds.
Oh, how do I get out of this? No, I am the nerd.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's it for the evening. Thank you all very, very much. I hope you had a good time. I had a blast. This is one of my favorite games to play, and I'm glad that you guys get to be a part of it. So, thank you very, very, very much. Hey, Rage Mom, good to see you. I have to go. It's late. We just wrapped up the game for the night, and I'm tired, and I'm still getting over being sick, so I have to take off. But I should be streaming probably again on Sunday, maybe? I'm gonna aim for Sunday. Yeah. No, Rage Mom, I have to go. I have other stuff to do tonight. Anyway, thank you all for everything. You guys are awesome and amazing. I don't know what else to say. I need to come up with a clever, sign out line. I don't know. I gotta come up with one. I'm not good at that kind of stuff. Anyway, good night, everyone. Stay safe, stay cool. We'll see you next time, and thank you for tuning in. Good night.